Okay, hurry.
I'm gonna only go behind you one.
Randy in your house?
Hopefully this weekend or next week.
Thanks for having
Not like I was.
Is that you? I took, I lost all my phone. I was just guessing.
Oh, you're guessing. You got the right number.
Five.
I said I sent it to you back.
Yeah.
Somebody sent it.
You did a good job. I
I
got
started,
it.
I started to move back with Anthony.
What is it?
$50 90 days.
You're gonna do that same thing.
Yep, yep.
And then you're paying it. Because you're not doing it right.
No, I'm gonna do it right this time. No. That muscles.
We're talking. I mean, I know Llewellyn went to the ladies' room, but where's Mark? Is he, he's not, oh, never mind. He told me he wasn't coming. I know Dale's working on it.
Dale's out.
Oh, yeah, Dale's out. He won't be here for the next meeting.
Really?
No, he's gonna be back. I think he's gonna be gone for like 2 weeks in total. It was like. Yeah, he was gonna be gone. Aren't you glad I came up here?
Yes, somebody else want to come up here?
Right?
You feel lonely?
Joellen's here.
Just feel free not having some.
I know.
Oh, that's right. Dale's gone and Mark.
All righty. Okay, we're gonna get started. The City Council regular meeting Thursday, August 22nd, 2024. It's called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I think that Co-Principal Garrett is going to be saying the prayer.
Yes.
Come on.
All right. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, God, thank you for this evening. God, thank you for the city, for our state, for our country, God, for all the things that you do for us, for the blessings that we have each and every day. God, just help us to remember those things when things aren't so good, and also help us to remember when things are good, all the blessings that you give us. God, be with this group of people in front of me who are making decisions for our city and for the betterment of the people in this town. God, we just we ask for you to give them wisdom, give them guidance, and give them the ability and the comfort and the confidence to make decisions that you want them to make. And so, God, we ask for your blessings on our city and our town, and we love you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to item 3, which is the public hearing. We'll open the public hearing. The Port Aransas City Council will conduct a public hearing on the following issues: PPLT and FPLT 24000536, final plat for the Moore Harkin Cud, being a replat of Lot 8, Block 19, State Land Surveys in Mustang Island, Nueces County, Texas, and being the same property referenced in the general warranty deed from Janahan Inc., a Texas corporation, to Greg Moore and Athena Harkin Moore, recorded in document number 2021018475, official public records of Nueces County, Texas. Applicant is Greg Moore and Athena Harkin Moore, property location 3400 block of 11th Street. Is there anybody here that would like to speak regarding that plat? Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to the next item in the public hearing, which is FPLT 24000538, plat of Sand Hill Subdivision Block 1, lots 1R and 2R, being a replat of Lot 1, Block 1, Sand Hill subdivision, a map of which is recorded on volume 64, page 164, map records of Nueces County, Texas, Lot 2, Block 1, Sand Hill subdivision. A map of which is recorded in volume 62, page 5, map records of Nueces County, Texas, in Lot 9, Block 10, state land surveys on Mustang Island, according to the map recorded at the General Land Office in Austin, Texas. The applicant is Cartographic Industries LLC and PGC's Beach Break RV Park LLC and Sand Hill Townhomes HOA. Property location is 732 Sandcastle Drive and 1833 South 11th Street. Anyone here that wishes to speak regarding that? Come on up, John, please.
Good afternoon, John Lindskog, 1833 South 11th Street. The main thing I want to do is to thank Mayor Moore and the staff in the development office for their guidance and support for the last year, trying to solve our plating issues over there. It's been a long year and we're at the 1-inch line right now. So next week, based on this evening's outcome, we'll be separated from our twin and on our own. So our
No more weekly visits?
no more weekly visits.
Y'all are gonna miss him.
So our 12 owners that didn't have deeded access, they will now have deeded access and be able to sell their unit. So I appreciate all the help and guidance from everybody. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, John. Anyone else? Okay. We'll move on to the third item, which is PPLT and FPLT 240000879, final plat for Seahawk Edition, Block 1, Lots L and K, being 0.878 acres of a replat of Lot L and Lot K and Lot M, and a portion of the unplatted Lot 1 out of Lot 1 and Block 17, Mustang Island, Nueces County. The applicant is Triple J Escapes. Their property location is 3300 block of On the Beach. Ms. Fulton, do you want to, okay. Come on up.
Hi, I'm Kathy Fulton at 619 East Avenue B. And on this application, this is got a lot of stuff on just this one application because of a bunch of back and forth, but several things that one of the main things is that maybe it has been turned in, but it wasn't last week. Which is there is no recorded utility easements for the water and all of that, the electric and such. I think the gas one might be there, but not the others. And that's got to go through some private property. So there has to be an agreement. And as of last week, even if a letter, like a gentleman's type agreement letter is submitted, it should, that shouldn't be accepted because what's required is the actual recorded utility easement for the purpose of getting that to the property. There is no mention in this application, even though I realize this isn't a dune construction permit yet. There's no mention still in here about it being within the 1,000-foot dune line. So, and those dunes over there are huge. And in case nobody's been over there, you should go look at it because they're like 17, 18 feet tall dunes, the whole thing. There is some wetlands involved too. And I mean, when I say the whole thing, there's not much room for mitigation. In fact, I think that's noted in the engineer's report. There's really nowhere for mitigation either. And so let's see. So this means that it's also still going to require, dune permits for dune construction permits, along with apparently a GLO easement for drainage. And the other thing is that the parking turnaround, because this is within the 1,000-foot, they indicate a 3,200 square foot area of concrete, which at least from what I understand and what I've read through, isn't allowed unless you get something straightened out with the GLO. That's really not allowed. Now pervious or permeable surface is, but that's something that has to be worked out. I recommend, because this, I don't think that this should have made it even to the council, because the P and Z should have had the applicant turn this stuff in. And there's a lot of red question marks, even on the last letter from Steve Grunwald with Urban about this, about certain issues that are still missing. There are things missing from this application. So that's why I don't think this should have even made it to council, because these things shouldn't be missing. I hope that y'all will ask these questions. And just, question this, if nothing else, table it until you get the legal paperwork for the easement. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any other items or anybody wish to speak during the public hearing? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and move on to item 4, which is citizen comments and reports. It looks like I have Cliff Strain. You want to come up, Cliff?
Would be okay, please go first, she signed in for me, and she's gonna speak more generally also.
Sure. Felicia didn't put a topic on hers, but so I had no idea that it was y'all were together, but that's fine. Felicia, you may come and speak. Sure.
Good evening, council. My name is Felicia Foster, and I live at 315 Oleander. I am the current vice president of the Port Aransas Preservation and Historical Association. PAFA plays a vital role in our community, and one of our mission is to promote citizen interest and participation in the appreciation and preservation of Port A's history, environment, and ambiance. Our goal as a nonprofit includes historic preservation, including restoration and reproduction of historic buildings, structures, sites, and places, as well as educating the public and the visitors through summer workshops, lecture series, tours of the Chapel in the Dunes, 8 Wonders of Port Aransas. The economic benefits of historic preservation can not only drive development, but attracts tourists who want to vacation in a place with a vibrant history, a story, providing a tangible connection to the past. Our newly adopted comprehensive plan moving forward with our past emphasize the importance of telling our story, salt and all. We thank you for the role the council plays in creating a process to ensure that our organization will be there for both the community and our visitors to treat them to a rich history and experience all that will keep them coming back. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Cliff, you're next.
Say a little more general, I thought.
That's okay. Yeah.
Cliff Strain, I'm the executive director of PAFA, and I'd also like to first say how much PAFA really appreciates the support that's given by the city, the mayor, and the council this year and years past. We know this is a tight budget year, but it's not just the hot funds, it's also just the general support for preservation efforts, which we really feel is part of keeping the town's heart and soul, that some of the reasons why people come here. There was a lot of discussion at the last meeting about the burden of proof about heads and beds. And the current policy is arduous in the application process and in the post report. And it seemed like discussion was leading toward an even more stringent set of guidelines. And certainly that process can be as difficult as as the city council agree to make it. But the use of hot funds can also be used to enhance tourism. A good example of that is providing a cool place for people to expose them to the local culture when it's too hot to be in the sun, to be on the beach or at the preserve or fishing, or when it's too stormy. And we saw that in July. We have a lot more visitors in July because of that stormy weather. While there are visiting spots, cultural spots like the museum, Farley Boat Works, Art Center, and theater, we also act as ambassadors to the community. Besides telling them about our history and our culture, we help them with their next move, whether it be choosing a restaurant, a facility, or going to another historic site. We provide maps and information. Some evidence that's not easily quantifiable, I think might be best told you in quotes. Last weekend, we had a couple that said they were staying the night to enjoy the town. and they considered the stop in the museum part of that process. Another couple said, we came back without the kids to see the museum and other cultural sites. And even though that's not really quantifiable, that certainly to me is evidence that we are putting heads in beds. Even though we did not block rooms for those people to come ahead of time, we didn't know they were coming till they arrived at our front door. Today, while I was clearing some plants for the chapel, get another example of them being good ambassadors. A group of people from San Antonio had stopped. They pulled up. They were discussing whether their grandmother, who has just turned 90, could make it up the path. And I suggested they pull up to the path and that I would sweeten the deal by opening up the museum for them. Opening up the chapel and letting them in. I gave them a short tour of the chapel once they got up there. And I think, they were so happy and grateful that I know that they're going to remember that the next time they think about where they're going to go for a vacation. So that's what PAFA does. We don't just, people come to Port Aransas to visit, but we give them an experience to remember and a reason to return. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. John, you want to reserve your time at the agenda item? I know you spoke during the public, but you're done. Oh, okay. Put you over here in the done pile. All right, thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. There are 2 items in the consent agenda, our city council meeting minutes from July, and then the second reading of an ordinance on chapter 18. Council have any comments, wish to pull anything, or is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to pass the consent agenda.
Second. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, Fran, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Krueger,
Yes.
Mayor Tim Owens,
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, we'll move on to items for consideration. So we'll start with item C, discuss and take action on PPLT and FPLT 24000536, 24001253, final plat of the Moore Harkin Cud, applicant Greg Moore and Athena Harkin Moore, property location 3400 block of 11th Street.
Good evening. So this plat is coming to you. This is one of the plats that originally came to P and Z requesting a variance. P and Z, in my opinion, rightly denied that variance based on no existing hardship. We grouped that with some other properties that had some situations, which is why we brought the ordinance amendment recommendations to you guys. Since those have already passed, these applicants have reapplied because those ordinances now offer them relief, and their plats can come to you as regular plats without request of a variance based on the amendments that we had there before. So this one is one of the last CUDs that we approved before that was taken off the table. And all they're wishing to do is to swap the alignment of their CUD. So take the houses from one side and swap it with the street. And so other than that, it's identical. We have approvals in there from all of our utilities. Our engineer who approved it and called out the need for the variance, we didn't send it back for review after that. That just, costs everybody a little bit more money when nothing really has changed since his review, except for that ordinance. So city engineer has reviewed and approved. City staff recommends approval.
Oh, on page 50 of it, the AEP had a note, just to retain all easements, and no visible conflict with existing. Are we all good with them?
Yeah, that's pretty much what they're putting on all of their plats now. If you remember, several years ago, AEP wasn't responding to ours in general, and that's kind of an unspoken rule, is that they maintain any of those easements that they go. They just want it written down for clarity's sake, and that's all been passed along.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion for the final plat for the Moore Harkin CUD, excuse me. Property location 3400 block of 11th Street.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, Fran, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Krueger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Mayor Tim Owens,
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Right. Item D, discuss and take action on FPLT 24000538, plat of Sand Hill subdivision block 1, lots 1R and 2R, applicant Cartographic Industries LLC and PGC's Beach Break RV Park LLC and Sand Hill Townhomes HOA. Property location is 732 Sandcastle Drive and 1833 South 11th.
So this is one that we have been working on for nearly a year now. This was probably the impetus of the amendments that we requested to that ordinance. Because it does offer such great relief to those existing property owners. I've left everything in the packet that we originally presented to P and Z because it did go over that history really well. But just know that no variance is required after the ordinances that you guys have approved. So this, in essence, just draws a straight line down from the edge of Sunday Villas where that was. It gives Sand Hill Townhomes a little bit extra property that used to be listed in that common property, but gives them full access to their driveway. Gets us at about 3,700 square feet. So it's pretty close to, what our current requirements are. Does offer them that relief. So everybody is approved. This has gone to our city engineer, who's also approved. There was some adjustments made to the easements for the water district since this has been brought back to us. So I did go ahead and have the water district approve that as well. You'll see that in there. Other than that, there have been no major changes to it. And city staff recommends approval.
Any questions?
No. I'll make a motion to approve this plat.
A second. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, Fran, please call the roll.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Krueger,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Owens,
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right. Item E, discuss and take action on PPLT FPLT 24000879, final plat for Seahawk Addition, Block 1, lots L and K. Applicant is Triple J Escapes. Property location is the 3300 block up on the beach.
So this is another one that we've been working on for probably nearly a year, if not maybe a little bit longer than that. Originally, the applicant came to us, and this is kind of what I would consider remnant tracks of the Seahawk subdivision. It was kind of a mess back there. There's lots of little portions of lots. Originally, they came to us and wanted that to be broken into several different lots, but because this is in our overlay zone and they get only their access from the beach, subdivision of that property is not allowed. So instead, what he's doing is just kind of combining those lots together. So there is going to be one big lot and then the one kind of smaller lot there. There is, I do think that in the future, this dune permit is going to be a pretty difficult one. Not as easy as some of the ones that we've done before because of some of the items that Ms. Fulton mentioned. But again, that's not at the plating stage right now. We'll handle that when it comes to the dune permit. The other properties in the Seahawk subdivision are on septic and well. Property owner doesn't want these to be on septic and well, and so he has reached out to the adjacent property owners to try to get easements for those utilities. They are still working out the major details of those utility easements. We will also see those in the civil plan stage when a lot more of those details are fleshed out, and that'll come back to city staff. We will see that in the dune permitting, which will go back to P and Z and back to you guys. So it's likely there might have to be any kind of adjustment made because of the dune permitting to any utility easement. So while they're important to mention in this plating action, I think that the exact location might change a little bit, even if you did have them drawn on here. We do have the applicant engineer. We also have the city engineer here that reviewed the project. If you guys have any further questions, but utilities have all approved. City engineer has approved with those conditions of the easement and some minor floodplain lines put into the preliminary plat. City staff recommends approval.
So the water department says that the plat with the understanding that the public utilities are not available without a private utility easement.
Correct.
Then it says these lots will not qualify for a private well or septic system.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, other lots in that same subdivision have, so I would have to, talk to Scott further about that. I know that the property owner does not want to do septic and well, which is why we're going for that utility easement.
And Nicole, we hold the approved plat and do not submit to the recording district until we receive the easements, correct?
100% until we receive the easements and it's,
So if you guys approve it, because the condition, it sits on Nicole's desk until the easements are secured, then at that time we can send to the appraisal district for a recording.
Correct.
But it won't happen until that.
and that's true of lots of plats. A lot of times we have plats that do have easements drawn on them after civil plans. Those have to be adjusted. And it's minor enough adjustment that it doesn't have to come back to you guys, that that's administratively approved. So I would say that this is probably a similar situation.
So it's, I know this probably hasn't been a lot to it, but some parts it's calling it an alley and some parts it's calling it drive or
I think that it's
Street.
both. I believe that in the original Seahawk subdivision, it's labeled as an alley, but it's their driveway. It's not a city street,
that
but
goes around the RV park.
No, it actually comes
it
in
comes
from
from
the
the
beach.
and across that.
This was
big
platted, I
strip there.
believe, in 53.
It's
or
an old
55.
plat.
Well, there's just,
Okay.
there's a drives from the beach.
Yeah.
But it also goes, you get to the alley going through the RV park.
Right,
Yeah,
and that's
can't
just
have
the
that access.
that's the RV park allowing them to do that. They don't have to allow them to do that. It is a platted access from the
That's what it
beach
says.
and
It's a
up and
private
around.
access. yeah.
Right, yeah, the platted access is from the beach, from the
Yeah,
original
I saw
Seahawk
that.
plat. Yeah.
But it's kind of weird.
We're just approving the plat for now.
Correct. This is still gonna probably take
Still have to
Some
do
time to-
drainage
things
and
to
dune
move forward.
permits and all that stuff.
civil plans would probably come first, it would probably come in conjunction. They would probably work out at the same time, civil plans and the dune permitting.
Cause it does say in there, there's not a lot of room to mitigate.
There is not a lot of room to mitigate.
But without the utility easements, you're not even going to civil plans.
I would imagine that
I mean, there's no sense in,
if Scott will not approve a well and septic, then I would
Right.
imagine that we couldn't even move forward without that utility easement.
So when it goes to P and Z, they don't have to have that utility easement.
I mean, they always
get
should
approved?
have at least the acknowledgement that that utility easement will be handled and will be placed on there. They could probably have drawn one on there that would likely change during the civil planning stage. So even if it was drawn on there, you would see that a little differently.
And it is in the 1,000-foot line, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fully, the entirety of the lot is in the
But they didn't-
1,000-foot line.
To the very end, did they not mention?
I
Yeah.
mean, at this point, until they're ready to go for a dune permit, that 1,000-foot line doesn't really come into play.
Okay, it sounds like we still got more work to do.
Yeah, sounds. I
I
mean,
mean, there's a lot of, everything's checked off, really. I mean, unless we make that, if we approve it, we state, or, I mean, we know what you're telling
So-
us with the conditions, but
Yeah,
if we would
plan-
approve it and name the conditions that.
Planning and zoning approved it, and so you guys would have to have those same conditions that they had, and that was conditional on the gaining of the utility
The
easement.
utility.
Okay.
To the
Well, they
finalization
can't
of
do
the
anything
utility
till
easement,
that's
they
been
can't do
approved.
anything without it.
Make sure that that's.
were you on P and
We're
Z?
not.
Were you on P and Z before,
Long
right?
time ago, yeah.
I mean, did you have to have those conditions to would
I
you
mean,
send
like
it
it's
through?
mentioned,
or-
it's one of the things that
Yeah.
you would
With these
require, unless it
conditions.
was a special condition or something that was noted on the approval process. But most of the time, yeah, there's certain processes that have to be met. And unless you're sitting in there during the time that it's approved.
there's very few properties that don't have the ability to put in the utilities, right? They may not be there, but they're still available. So for something like this, I mean, it's very unique. And so, yeah, I mean, I would feel better about it having them or the agreement already be in place before it's here. But if we're allowed and P and Z approved it and we're allowed to approve it with that condition, I mean, it's not going to go forward either way. It just seems,
Did you want to say anything?
Yeah, especially if you're
So this is our applicant engineer. And for the record, we do have communications back and forth with the property owner. It's just that the finalization has
Right.
been.
And it seemed like they went through it over and over again. They had to come back several times to
Right.
keep answering questions.
The
and-
property owner is granting the utility easement, not a problem. He's worried about, he just put some sod down and some new concrete, and he doesn't want that to get busted up. So if that's his concern, he's okay with the utility easement. Of course, you guys will see this again, like Nicole said, because that utility easement will be filed with the final plat.
Sure.
We're just trying to get this preliminary plat so I can turn in a student permit. I'm trying to get there. I do appreciate.
No, this is a final.
Oh,
Yeah.
and a final. Oh, okay. So, yeah, just approve it conditionally on getting that utility easement. That should be good. And of course, then the dune permit. So you guys also have David and Nicole will recognize some of my work as well as Charlie Crawford. I actually have a drainage plan in here. It's the real pretty colored one. And that actually shows avoidance of the wetlands, avoidance of all the dunes that we could possibly
I
do.
didn't see it in there.
The two lots are in there are the best case
Oh, and
scenario without doing any more damage.
That's right.
Yes, there'll be a GLO lease,
They went over
but
that.
we avoided and minimized to the maximum extent possible. We also didn't go any way forward. We could have gone a little bit more forward, but that would have blocked people's view. So we really went through this layout for like years and years. So the GLO mitigation, there's room on to do mitigation there. There will be a GLO lease for the mitigation and the drainage. That's absolutely correct. Joseph knows what he's doing. I don't know if you guys were on here, but I helped him do the other ones there on Seahawk. We built those. We started in 2015, and then we built those and finally got them dried in June 2017. And you guys, if you were here, you know what happened in August of 2017. Those things didn't lose a shingle. So I think it's really good stuff. But if there's any other questions or comments, I mean, like I said, you're gonna see this again.
So did you say they're draining through the dunes and you'll have to get a lease from the GLO to drain to the dunes?
For the mitigation, right? So if you
Oh, for the
really,
mitigation.
huh?
For the,
But that's always the case.
Yeah.
Okay,
When it's in
okay.
the GLO portion of the
Right.
property.
And-
That's a common practice.
And
Okay.
we've done this before, and I also did some work for Michael Arnold, who used to own the RV. Yeah, right. That road that went through there, I actually got him a permit to do some mitigation of the front of his land too, which also required a GLO lease. This project is like cleaning up a lot of messes, as the mayor said. And so this is a really good, applicant to come through and do this. That was a private beach access easement. He's allowing the other neighbors to use it. He's allowing these people to use it. He's basically the only one that can clean this up. So we kind of thank Joseph Cabela for doing this project.
So real quick, under section 21-58, final plat review process. The commission and the council act independently of each other in the plat review process, and the approval of the final plat by each body is required. They or it, as appropriate, may approve conditionally, or disapprove the plat. So conditionally approving is in our ordinance.
Right. The utility easement, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a fence, it could be
Right.
a setback. It could be-
So agreed that. So you've got,
Right.
the eyes on it.
And we have been working with them for over a year on that as well, so.
Then that's the better.
And the pathway that we went through, we could have gone around a different way, but it would have disturbed the dunes to nobody's business. So this is the least environmentally damaging practical alternative that we can find. So it's taken us a lot of time. And I definitely appreciate staff's time on this too. They've been working on this, and as well as Stephen and his review from Urban. So.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Okay.
So critical conditional on the authorization letter from the property owner and yeah, for the utilities, right? Yeah, same thing that P and Z did.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion on the final plat for Seahawk Edition, Block 1, lots L and K. Property location 300 block of On the Beach. With conditions as originally approved by P and Z from in regards to the property owner on the utility easement and doing permanent approval.
I'll second.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, Fran, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Krueger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Owens,
Yes.
Mayor Moore,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, item F, authorizing the adoption of the Nueces County, Texas multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation action plan and authorizing city manager to sign all documents and providing all matters relating to said multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation action plan.
Thank you, Mayor. So this is a county-wide multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation action plan. The county created this in 2017 with the reasoning for being eligible for post-disaster mitigation funding and hazard mitigation grant program funding, two different categories through FEMA. The plan has to be updated every so often, and that's what this is. The county has updated the multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation action plan. It's a draft copy I have in my office. It's like 800 pages. Each of the jurisdictions that are listed in here as being participants must approve and turn in a signed resolution and minutes to prove up that we agree with it. But it covers all sorts of things from mitigation of floods, hurricanes, drought, heat, lightning, coastal erosion, hailstorms, tornadoes, levee failures, subsidence, expansive soils, wildfires, windstorm, and severe winter storms.
Were there a lot of changes from the last time we submitted?
So what you have in your attachments, you'll see, and I didn't attach it because since it's an emergency plan, it's
Right.
a little bit
Big.
it's a little
Yeah,
kind of
700 and
Yeah.
something pages.
complicated.
That's fine.
And
That too.
it's
Summary, yeah.
proprietary, but it is in my office and you guys can see it anytime you like. For emergency planning purposes, right? But what we do have in here is Rick signing off in 2001 that he's in agreement for the city for them to join and start this off. And then you'll see the FEMA letter saying, okay, we'll get your council to approve. What was your main question again? I'm sorry.
No, I just, from the last time we had to submit a plan, I didn't know if there were a significant amount of changes or things that were updated that
Right.
I'm sure we're all on board with whatever's there.
I went and visited and I went in Kathy Ard Blantner's office, who's underneath D County Emergency Management. We sat up there and we went through this really quickly. I think it's a general update because it talks about history. Like it'll show all the hailstorms, it'll show all the hurricanes, it'll show everything, right? So that last plan was in 2017. This is now putting a whole bunch more data in from 17 forward back into that plan. And I think a few other things, 800 pages worth.
Thank you for reading it for us.
Thank you.
All right, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt the Nueces County, Texas multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation action plan.
Okay.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, Fran, please call the roll.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Krueger,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Owens,
Yes.
Mayor Moore,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, item G, presentation from Broadus and Associates on Hurricane Harvey recovery. Hello, sir.
Everyone. Good evening. We're down to just 5 current permanent work projects. That's the ones listed here. So starting off with the public safety, that project's going well. It's scheduled to be completed in December of this year. So they've poured the mezzanine and shortly they'll close it in. The roof will be on and they'll be able to put windows and doors and it'll be watertight and they'll go from there. Fire station, all the piers were poured. That's all done. They're working on underground right now. Anticipate pouring concrete, grade beams after Labor Day. So shortly and early in September, they'll move forward with that. Gas is running well. We got phases 1 and 2 are about 80% complete, energized. Those 80% are powered up. Still going on phases 3 and 4 are in process right now. So on the nature preserve and boardwalk, we walked out there yesterday, drove the whole length of it. A little bit of tie-ins, runners and stringers need to be installed. Once that's done, they're going to start to put the fiberglass decking on, be able to walk on them after that. And then once that's done, they'll transition to the granite trails and they're on a good schedule, anticipate to be finished before the deadline of November 1st. So
Awesome.
that's looking good, going well. Public Works Garage tomorrow, and David, I didn't tell you this, but tomorrow we expect to get the 100% design plans for you to review and approve from Turner Ramirez. Once that's approved and accepted, we'll be going out for bids shortly after that, and hopefully before the end of the year, we'll be breaking ground. Well before the end of the year. Really, that's the only update I have. Again, there's only the 5 permanent work projects that remain. We have some of the other temporary facilities that are still out there. You know, those are still going on. Those are category B projects. Other than that, we're doing well. We're working ourselves out of a job pretty quickly. So we don't have a whole lot left.
There are big ones left.
It's the big ones. This is the ones that were challenging. It's the ones that Michael had to fight over with FEMA. And that he likes that. That's his thing, man.
Yeah.
He loves doing that. So, but these were the big ones and we still have a little bit of a challenge left on us on the fire station and the garage, but they're coming along. So again, you're right. The hard ones are the last ones. So that's it.
Yeah, and the payments received, looks like you got it good.
Yeah, so we're up to 75 almost $1 million that you guys have received so far for disaster. We still got a good bit more to go. We got a lot of gas money coming back. And so there's still some funds out there to recover. It'll be over 100 million when it's all done.
Well, thank you for your continued hard work.
Welcome. That's it.
That's it.
So much.
Yeah.
I like that shirt.
Yeah.
Very
it's
beachy.
nice. Yeah.
Thanks, Derek. Yeah.
While at the beach. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. All right, item H, discuss and take action to appoint members of the Planning and Zoning Commission. All right, so the Planning Zoning Commission has 4 vacancies and 5 applicants. We have Craig Scott, who's not seeking reappointment, Nick Lorette, who's not seeking reappointment, Mike Dayon, who is seeking reappointment, and Chad Shemitis, who's also seeking reappointment. The applicants are outside of Chad and Mike, who are seeking. We have Christy Littleton, Brenda Owens, and Felicia Foster. It looks like in the audience, I see Miss Foster and Miss Owens. I like to always give you an opportunity to come and speak if you would like, because you are here. So would either one of you like to come and say anything? No pressure. I'm just giving you the opportunity because you're here. If not, we can just stare at you.
Yeah. No pressure.
Thank you for the opportunity. My background, I've been in architecture and design, land planning for the last 37 years. So I have kept my teeth on zoning code and understanding the code and letter of the law. I feel like that is something that I can give back to my community by serving on planning and zoning. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you for your application. Miss Owens, your turn.
My name is Brenda Owens. I always come to a lot of the council meetings. I like to stay in tune of what's going on. As we get older and live in a community, we like to be involved in the community and see where we can help if the help is needed. As far as planning and zoning, I listen to a lot of this about the plats and all. I really have no background as a realtor or anything like that, just common sense. And my family, my dad was a builder here. My brother has done some building here. I kind of know what goes on where, and just thought it would be a good chance to get in and get involved in the community and see where I can help out.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
So can I kind of take a shot at it?
You may take a shot at it.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to make a motion to appoint, Brenda Owens and Craig Scott spot, and Felicia Foster and Nick Lorette spot, and then have Michael Dan and Chad to stay on.
Okay, that's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion? All right, Fran, please call the roll.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Krueger,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Owens,
Yes.
Mayor Moore,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, that was quick
Okay.
and simple. All right, so we have one applicant that is still out there, right? And then we'll move on to the Board of Adjustment and Appeals, which is item H.
This one.
This is a new.
I'm sorry, item I.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's got one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
all
yeah.
right. I didn't know.
All right, so in item I is the Board of Adjustment and Appeals. We have multiple spots open. Place 1, Tina Grossclose is actually seeking reappointment. Place 3, Paul Ruff is seeking reappointment. Place 4 is vacant due to resignation. And then so it's those 3 spots. And then we also have place 6 and 7, which are alternates, open. So we do have,
And we got that extra person.
right, we
Yeah,
have
and this
Tina who's
person.
reapplied, we have Paul who's reapplied, and then we have a third applicant, Carrie Nichols, who has also applied. I don't believe any of those are here, correct? Okay,
I'm not sure who Terry
okay,
is, but-
so I know we just got Mr. Nichols, but if anyone wants to take a minute to read it or have some questions, I guess he's not here, but you can take a minute and then.
Meets all the criteria.
When's the last time
Okay.
we had an alternate in this position?
No,
Long time.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm just curious. That's just,
When was the last time we had an alternate in the position?
like,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
okay.
Passed away at Mallory Side.
Oh, okay,
Never
that's,
filled
okay.
Wonder if,
Anybody? Anybody?
Miss Littleton would consider being an alternate in B of A because she
That's
was an
what I
advocate for planning and zoning. She's not here to speak for herself, but.
Just put her on.
I was wondering the same
I
thing.
was gonna ask the ladies in the audience, but they are now duly appointed, but it seems like a logical choice.
She can always resign.
See,
She can say no.
We did it to
We did it just.
John Morris, didn't we?
But I think you
might-
were here.
I don't think he was
Ask.
here. I think he applied for P and Z and then he stuck on BOA.
That's what I was gonna say.
Been
If
doing good.
Chrissy wanted to.
Like,
be
yeah, I'm
on-
gonna try to-
Okay,
Okay.
Well, we can at least do the other ones now.
yes, we can make a motion for the
Yeah.
3
Okay.
spots, or if you would
Yeah, we
rather
hear.
appoint. You want to find out if that's something that she's interested in before we chose? I mean, not really. Pick a spots. Let's make a motion. Anybody have a motion? Bert?
I'll make a motion, place 1, for Tina Gross close. place 3, Paul Ruff, and in place 4, Terry Nichols. For the applications of board commissions.
Okay.
All right. Is there a second?
Okay, do we want to find out if she wants to be an alternate first
I think
before we
she
make
texted
this
her.
motion or?
Well, you can make a
Okay,
separate
we
motion
can-
for the alternate.
okay.
look.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All
All right.
There's a
well, then
motion on
I'll
the floor, so
second-
we-
I will
Want me to
second your
add the
motion.
alternate to it too?
We'll do that separately.
Okay.
I second your motion,
All right.
Okay,
your motion. not
we
your
have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Get her on
All
the
right,
phone.
Fran, please call the roll.
Councilmember Krueger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers.
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Owen,
Yes.
Mayor Moore,
Yes.
motion carried.
And then there's a separate one there.
There,
Needs to be a separate one.
we're gonna
If,
take a pause.
when we, okay. So. So it's gonna be,
Yeah, I didn't. At least somebody.
John, would you like to be an alternate on the Board of Adjustment of Appeals? I'm looking for empty bodies out here. Next year. Okay, okay.
Okay.
Oh, good. We have a viable candidate. Would someone like to make a motion?
I will make a motion to add Christy Littleton as an alternate for the Board of Adjustments and Appeals.
Yay. I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion, and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Fran, please call the roll.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Krueger.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Owen,
Yes.
Mayor Moore,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, all right. Item J, discussion on the proposed budget for fiscal year 2024-2025.
So we had our meeting on the 12th. And the general fund and hotel motel special fund, we had quite a bit of discussion about some changes to those funds, and I made the changes that were discussed at council meeting. So the original budget, if you remember, was built with the voter approval tax rate, which would be a tax increase. There was no desire to do that, so I rebuilt the budget using the no new revenue rate. So the tax rate now is proposed at 0.191962. And that will, well, you vote on that in the next item, but that would be what we would advertise. You would not have a ad for an increase to the tax rate. And it does bring less into the budget, so we had to do some cuts. And where we cut was the 1.8 million budgeted for the construction of the animal shelter. After discussion, we knew that the construction probably wasn't going to start until
The following year.
September, October of next year due to design, finding a place, et cetera, if we're moving forward with it. And so we budgeted 400,000 for A&E for the new shelter design. And we kept 100,000 in for current shelter needs to include possibly an office space rental. We talked about maybe getting a mobile mini, putting it out front for their office, and that way it would free up some space in the interior for what they mainly mentioned was having a quarantine area. So that was all the changes that were made to the general fund. And the general fund is attached in its new form here in your packet. The hotel motel fund, the hotel motel special, the changes that were made to that were adjustments to the outside agencies. The 3 new events that were budgeted, which were the Harvest Moon, Trinity Day School, and the EMS conference, were not touched at all. But on the others, as discussed, we did a 5% reduction on what was awarded last year. So that changes the community theater to 70, right in my thing, but I want to make sure it's right in here. 71,250.
Right.
Same amount for the Art Center of 71,250, and the Historical Association would then get 142,500. Those were changes that were made to those two funds.
Now, the next two funds weren't necessarily discussed during council, but after reviewing, we looked at some things. There were a few things that were still needed in the gas fund that I failed to get in. So we need furniture and appliances for the new building. Also the technological needs of the cameras, network cabling and phone installation, which we budgeted for fire and EMS and public safety. Those same type needs are going to need to be placed in the gas fund. And also our alarming system when the pressures get low out there at Fish Pass and our regular transfer station, I guess is what it's called. I don't know what it's called. Is that the right word? What station? Regulator station. Right now, we're relying on cell phone data to give us those warnings, and we really
On solar.
on solar.
It's working on the cell phone
Solar.
signaling to alarm us, and this would be a proposal to hardwire it. Specifically for storms, but also the cell phones work here, it could alarm and.
Yeah,
Not
it's
work.
just too risky.
Risky.
Yeah.
For my head.
Yeah,
We don't want a
Yeah.
spring break
yeah.
2023.
We need to be
Is that what it was?
proactive in that.
2022?
Yeah.
Whenever it was.
23.
Oh, yeah.
23.
Yeah.
Spring break, we don't want a spring break 2023 occurrence. David is not ready to retire yet, so he did ask for it to be put in the budget.
What is that dollar amount?
That dollar amount was
250.
250,000.
Okay.
It's a pretty penny. But
It needs to be done.
we felt like we really needed to get that added in there.
I mean, I think that's fine. I mean, we cut enough that I think there's money to put back in, especially for things like that. So, okay.
Well, the gas fund, we didn't cut anything. I'm adding to it. This is
No, I mean,
strictly in the gas.
Okay.
But yes. Yes. So the gas fund, we may need to, as we get into the new year and we get our revenue study done, we may need to issue a revenue bond to cover that and cover our 984,000 that's estimated to tie the residences and businesses that came on post Harvey into the new system, because FEMA will not reimburse us for that. That is on our penny to tie them into the new distribution system. So, but we kind of got to wait to see when we finish that rate study and let them know of our future plans, and they come through with a good recommendation for us.
but we talked about that last time, right? Yeah.
We did talk about that. I just had not put in these other needs. I made the deficit a little larger.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I think
Okay.
we do think it's things that they're needed and they're real.
Mhm.
The thing we did not discuss at all in the meeting, because this came up on August 15th and our meeting was on August the 12th. The garden club has been taking care of the landscaping at the community center and at the birding center. And they came in and had a conversation with Colleen and said, we're not interested in doing that anymore. I don't think they have the manpower. I don't think they have the.
Well,
Like that
I
people with
think they've
expertise.
been
been contracting it out.
contracted that out, right?
Okay. Yeah, they've been contracting it out. That's right. So they don't have the people that have been doing this. They've been doing it.
And that's an
like,
expense for them.
it's an expense, and they said, we're out. We need to be.
Well, we
out.
went out. They're
They
gonna
want
go
out.
to their board and discuss it. Yeah, come on up, Colleen. Yeah. It's still not 100%.
They haven't officially decided
Yeah.
yet. So they've been taking care of the community center for decades and
Been doing a great job.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's beautiful.
yes, and they've been a great partner. And so they, I think, are looking to entertain other ideas of how to contribute to the community. They mentioned programming at the school. They mentioned maybe taking on a different area. And so I just had to look at what would happen if they weren't maintaining that community center. And with that and Old Town Square and the landscaping at the Roberts Point Playscape, I had already been thinking we were going to need a gardener, and this kind of pushed me over the edge to ask for one, because it is a big space with a lot of maintenance. It's, our new center of town, green space. And so I want to make sure that it's well taken care of. if they decided not to cancel the maintenance and their members might say, no, we want to continue this, I wouldn't have to hire somebody, but I think it's safer to have it in the budget and be ready for it if it happens.
They're supposed to meet September.
Yes.
So master gardener, obviously someone to kind of take that off your plate and oversee it, but I mean, one master gardener is not going to be sufficient to
We have-
take care of. I mean, you do feel like you have enough
We have
staff to
one
take care of all
gardener
that?
on our grounds team already. We have a grounds crew of 8. And so it would be a second trained gardener, which we differentiate from the rest of the grounds crew because they have a little bit different skill set.
Yeah. Okay.
So they rotate around as a team, you know, they'll come in and hit it 1 or 2 days a week and then they rotate
The
out.
grounds crew mows, weed eats, blows the area. They would be specific to like the beds and the plant maintenance
Okay.
and all of that.
Well, and if we're gonna
Eventually,
have
we
a-
probably will need more with
Yeah.
beautification projects and
Yes,
things.
that's what I was
down the
thinking.
line.
We're gonna, yeah.
But
I mean, I know that's further down the line.
we will take
Well, and
that
then
in.
the park that we're gonna have over and.
Right.
Yeah,
Well-
so we've got a lot.
I mean, just like with the harbor master's office and pavilion, there's a lot of lovely landscaping that's there that I'd hate to see start looking poorly because someone is not taking care of it. So my concern is this enough? I mean, if we have to possibly hire additional people or maybe contract some of that stuff out. I mean, we've talked about some of those things in the past, just in general with keeping up, right? With
Yeah.
all the demands that we have throughout all the city properties, you know, is there more money that we need to put either in the general fund and or in RDC to help with that?
We've never really master planned out the growth for or succession for the grounds crew. And with all of this new property, it's probably wise to do that. We're not just taking care of parks, we're taking
Right.
care of all city green space.
Right.
And so we would probably want to maybe more detailed discussion offline about how to break up spaces and what we want done. I
think
feel
one
like
at
measuring the
least,
growth.
I think one for now.
Because we're in a transition period, we're moving from the current grounds office to a temporary facility to the maintenance facility that's gonna
Mhm.
be built, hopefully with the rec center. And so to add 2 more right now with my vehicles and office space limited,
Might be too much.
it might be too much. The contracting, if things start to lag behind and the guys can't keep up with it, that could be an option to bring in a local landscaper, and I could ask for a budget amendment
Okay.
if it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean, particularly we're about to close on the property behind the IGA and that's a large piece of property that will require at least mowing and
yeah.
weed eating and, you know, keeping
Oh, yeah.
keeping it nice and tidy. So I just want you to have enough in your budget to not feel like you can't get it all done. So,
Maybe
and a budget amendment's
considering
fine.
the contract personnel line item in the, there's like a professional services line item in the, general fund. Recreational services, I think is what it's called.
Well,
Or turf management is another line item that maybe we could consider, if we wanted like a mow and weed eat crew to come in for the new parkland.
The recreational services, you would probably have some there because you have not been hitting it on the way.
Which one's that one?
Under general fund and parks, it's page 218 of 269.
It's better to have
You would
it in there and
increase
not
that
use it as
budget, and then
Mhm.
every my other, you increased it by 7,000, asking for something else, but, yeah, we may have it,
But is that?
rather be RDC than
But does
general
this one
fund.
already include the new gardener? up top?
No, the new gardener was budgeted under the RDC.
Oh, okay, under the RDC.
Not under the general
Okay.
fund.
yeah, so maybe if
Mhm.
if we need to make an adjustment to the general fund, I mean, we have room from what we did cut.
And then I don't know that much
Mhm.
about the
Right.
IGA property and how it's planned out, but if it's considered nature space, nature preserve is a different fund entirely too for maintenance there and contractual services. There's a line item in 075 as well.
It's not gonna be in the nature preserve footprint. It's gonna be considered a park, but I don't think we're gonna consider it nature preserve, are we?
Probably not until we do something with it.
Right.
First of all, we're gonna mow it. We're gonna get rid of pepper
Ray is
trees
already planning the.
Oh,
pepper
yeah,
tree
and the
thing.
shelters.
Yeah.
for critters in the back.
People.
People and critters, we're gonna get rid of those.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the first thing we're gonna do. The people that live in that street are gonna love us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
We
Well,
did
that's-
it.
who's gonna clean
That
the
way
beach
Brett
too?
Boyer won't be mowing it like I saw him mowing
Aw.
it 2 days ago.
Told him not to. He wanted to lose some weight.
Yeah. Mowing it. Cause it
No,
was,
we had volunteer grounds. crew.
well,
Let
I
me know
told him
about this
I was gonna
stuff.
vote
Which one's
citizen
that?
of the ward year for him. So
Aw.
I just wanna, I mean, you know,
Right, to make sure.
y'all do an amazing job and you're always on it, but we have
What?
acquired and built and we're
Third.
continuing to
Yeah.
acquire and we're gonna have these beautiful
Yeah,
park
right.
spaces and, you know, the harbor I mean, just, it's a lot. And so
It is
I
a
wanna
lot.
make sure that you have the resources you need
Thank
to
you.
keep up.
RDC than- I'd rather it be
Thank
under
you.
RDC than general fund, but.
Yeah.
I don't wanna see Wes out there on the weekends or the weekday after work.
He's not gonna do that.
My yard is
It's
like.
true.
full of hearts.
that they're-
You don't want it looking like your yard?
We'll
Okay.
get some extra in.
Okay.
So, but
for
for
that.
sure, we want
We'll
to.
put some
The
extra
gardener
right
and then
there.
a line item increase for possible contract.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
Is that okay with everybody?
Probably do
Yeah,
under
I agree
RDC.
with you, Mayor.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And we want it
And
to
it's hot.
say, look, we don't want anything dying out there if we're gonna pay to have all these beautiful plants.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah, it's hard enough keeping them alive in this environment.
Okay, what else, Darla?
Those were the only changes that were made to the budget post our August 12th meeting. That
So I
we
know a
have
lot
made.
of, some of you had sent in agenda items for budget. We just said, you know, make sure you bring them up during the budget. I think it was animal
Everybody wants to talk
shelter,
about.
animal shelter budget, beach access road.
Yeah.
So beach access road funding is in here.
Okay.
I told Joe Ellen before the meeting, we have signed documents.
Woohoo.
Now it just needs my signature. They came in right after lunch. So I just need to go down to the title company and sign something in front of them and it's
It's great, a done deal.
get our title and then it's a done deal. And we are proceeding with the dune permit is in process.
Good.
When do you
And
think
we
this
put
will?
it in the budget at the engineer's estimate. We haven't.
Yeah, so we'll get with Urban. He left, so we'll be moving forward with finalizing construction plans as well.
And it's really hard to make any adjustments to the budget without knowing that.
Exactly.
I mean, we'd have to.
Right, and you guys
Yeah.
put the one, what we put?
No, we put in there the 2.3, I believe.
Yeah, 2.3, so it
Didn't
should
bring
be
my
the full.
original one with me.
Okay.
Well, it's
Full number.
budgeted under the beach fund. There were two options to either go with an asphalt or a concrete.
We
And the
put the
concrete was
higher.
more expensive. We went ahead and put the concrete estimate in.
So to be determined, that'll come back to you guys when we bid it.
Okay.
We'll probably bid it both ways, maybe. As an alternate.
Yeah.
What
was the
asphalt?
1.8?
I think the asphalt was about 400 lower.
Was what was in my head.
Yeah.
I think it was 1.8 and the concrete was right around 2.3 and we went
Yeah.
ahead and put the 2.3 in the budget. But that is your decision when we go to bid.
And then the animal shelter, we're gonna try to do the office.
We put-
So
What
a
is
couple
it?
updates on the animal shelter. So, an idea that I've been working on and I met with the, general end office leasing folks was, so if you look on the screen, this is the Texan is down here. So this is, Highway 361 Piper Boulevard. The city's capital improvement plan for the runway extension extends the taxiway about down to here. And it extends the runway about 650 feet. So those two are coming down this far. The ditch right there, it gets relocated and it comes down and ties back in. So we already have a core permit for all of this. With the new 2023 September Supreme Court determination on what the Corps' jurisdictional waters are, we believe that all this land right here is no longer Corps jurisdictional. Could be, very well could just be uplands. So I'm having our perennial Josh Melnar with Perennial Environmental Services. he's doing a jurisdictional determination letter to present to the Corps, which would allow us to extend a row of additional hangars in line with the other hangars, down here. And the idea was would we be able to also put in an animal shelter right there on the end? Be decent visibility. You'd have the space, no houses around. The question would be is it permissible on the airport lease? So that's hence the meeting with the General Land Office leasing folks last, I had it on Monday. They were kind of scratching their head at the idea, so don't know how well received it is. They wanted to see the determinational letter first. The way the airport lease reads, it states that the primarily shall be used as airport uses. So it doesn't say 100% has to be airport uses. It just says primarily. So that was kind of what my angle of attack was. The other thing is that we're also going to meet with, trying to set up a meeting with County Commissioner Brent Chesney and the County Animal Control Director. And I'm trying to set a meeting up, hopefully next week, to determine, and I think this is important because I think it'll have some play on what we need to build, and that is to hit the county up and say, hey, we're a huge county taxpayer. What are we getting out of the deal? Is this Robstown's private animal shelter, or who all in the county gets to participate? And is there some allocation that we can have, or can we develop some type of help system where they're taking animals that we need? So we want to figure out what Port A's right, or who's the animal shelter serving. And so I'd like to.
I thought
No, they're building it. It's
they
about a
are-
$5-6 million facility.
I know. but I
Yeah.
heard
They cut the
recently
price
that-
back a little bit. I think it went from 5 million down to 4 million. But I think we need to hear from the county, and hopefully next week, what's going to be the process of all the outer lying cities, saying, hey, they're not going to fill it with just county pets that are outside of city limits, right?
Everybody's full. I mean.
Yeah,
Nobody can be not full right now.
no, I know. But the question is that, the city of Robstown, the city, who gets to put pets there? We should have something. I mean, they should be helping. They should be helping the whole county, not just, they shouldn't just be Western Nueces County's animal shelter.
Exactly.
We got pet issues too.
Yeah.
So it's so we need to get involved in that.
And
in
you're
the
gonna meet
front
with Commissioner
and
Chet-
figure out, hey, guys, we got pet problems. You're gonna help us too. So,
A lot of them coming from there anyway.
yeah. So, so that's a couple ideas with the animal shelter that I'm trying to iron out. I think the airport idea, as far as if we do build something, I think it's a good spot. It has, it gives frontage, gives good visibility to people wanting to see it. I think it's, the airports are all ramping up at the other end and taking off into the wind. So noise wise, I don't think it's that big of an issue with the pets. You actually, when you look around, you see a lot of animal shelters
By airports.
are on or by airport
true.
property. So, so we'll see what the General Land Office says about that spot.
I like that idea.
And then hopefully I can get an update to you guys quickly on what the county says.
Yeah, keep us informed. Good job.
So were there any other proposed updates or changes to the budget that anybody had or wanted to discuss?
Do we have money in the budget? This, that still sound like a broken record, but
No.
I know we don't, but.
Not now.
Well, this
Well,
Avenue
thank you.
C, ride down that a lot, and it's just, I know there's a lot that's between riding from the bank over to Cutoff Road. There's just it's a lot of wear and tear on that road, and I don't know, I guess it could make another year, I guess we'll just.
Which one's this one, Chuck?
Avenue.
Avenue C.
Avenue
B
C,
between,
but where you go from the cross for the school, like, let's say American Bank, and then to the Ranches Harbors, just down that area.
this whole stretch
Right.
West
Yeah.
Avenue C.
Yeah.
The wear and tear on Avenue C, you're
We're
saying?
just saying gradually, I just seen it ride it a lot and it's just getting, I mean, for it to maintain another year is gonna be pretty. I mean, as long as we can do it internally, just to, we'll be fixing potholes and stuff, but. At some point, I would think we will need to probably have to resurface it if they do something.
Yeah, I could have the engineer look at it. That's gonna be a spendy.
No, I figured it
Long
was.
Street.
Yeah, let me look at it. I thought we just did see.
We did the sidewalks.
I know we did
And
the
drainage.
sidewalks.
Oh, we did. We did nothing to the road.
Yeah. You take.
Avenue A and Avenue C got those sidewalks and
Yeah,
drainage.
I'm thinking back.
On the south side.
Didn't they get done though back in 12?
I don't know. I don't have
Well,
those
they have,
listed.
but they-
Those
they're-
12 years ago, yeah.
A lot of traffic down there and it just, you can just see there's anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just new potholes everywhere.
Well, the pothole project, I mean, the street and drainage project's still underway.
Right.
They have not really technically, well, no, they've done some of the potholes, but they haven't hit all of them. So there's still a lot of potholes out there.
Avenue C from Station to 11.
I mean, are you looking to add that in the budget now, Chuck?
I just wanted to know if I mean, I could just see in the.
I mean, I would have to go get an engineer's estimate and,
As long as we got funds in the budget this year.
We
at
don't.
least maintain it.
oh, well,
Not redo the whole thing, but
yeah,
just-
we would have dollars to do potholes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just to do
yeah.
the patch for
Yeah,
another year.
yeah.
Definitely for next year, we'll need it.
Station
That
to
allocated.
11.
Yeah.
Station to 11th was done in 2012. I don't see where it says from Alistair to Cutoff was done then, but
That's what might have been a while.
You see, I mean, it's, but.
I think after, I mean, we're obviously gonna get through this street and drainage project, which has a lot of streets and a lot of them getting done, but I think that we need to be continuously be looking at the next set of streets. And so I think this year we should spend time and possibly engineer funds to have them now look at the next tranche of streets
Next
that we need to
phase.
be focusing on to get ready for the next, bond project. I mean, the 11th Street bond will be paying off I don't know how much longer, but which will leave up a little bit of room, but I mean, we need to always be looking at
27.
maintaining and improving the streets, absolutely. So.
yeah, when it's paid off, looking the debt.
Looks like everything that was, all the changes made, so looks like the daily requirement 43,847, the 6-month reserve rate.
We're still
We're
finding.
still in the good, about 5,600 or
Yes, sir.
568,000. Which a year ago, we were 10 million.
27.
27. Yeah, 27 is the retirement of 11th Street.
And 11th
And that
Street
frees up how
bond,
much?
but the 11th Street bond, I've been trying to. that's
Pay
the one
down
we've
with,
been paying
um,
with
early bird,
impact fees.
We've been paying it with impact fees,
Mhm.
right?
This year, we're only paying half of it with impact fees and estimated for next year also, but
What,
Yes,
do we have any
it's
other
about
big ones coming off soon?
555,000. That's our oldest. 2014 is the ferry landing property. It's coming off in 29. That's the next one to roll off. And it's not a very big one,
Yeah,
it's 135,000. Our 2017 is a street bond issue and it should be coming off in 32. Which is a while. The next finance director can deal with that.
What are you saying?
That I probably won't be here in 32.
There won't, did we put any money into the street maintenance fund?
The street maintenance, a transfer, no ma'am, a budgeted funds for the street. Maintenance, we have,
Yeah, what is budgeted for next year? I know
What page is it?
it's not in there, it's in
Oh,
your original
that's right.
budget.
Yeah, I don't see.
It's in your original proposed budget, which I don't know why I didn't bring mine. Hold on, I'm gonna look at it online. The street fund should be around page, let's try 100. Drainage impact fees.
I'm gonna go grab your budget book.
That would, yeah, it's easier than
Where
looking
is
at
it?
it on here. It's on my floor underneath my window. In the binder. We have small street projects, we have 75,000, we have the 400,000 in for the stoplight. 81,000 for striping and signs. 30,000 for patching materials. So you've got about 115,000 for small street projects and patching. You could always up that in the street maintenance fund. You
I
have,
mean, that goes a long way. That's not gonna rebuild a street,
Yeah.
but it's gonna,
that's a lot of patching.
yeah, that's a lot of patching.
And we have the 30, we have the roller. We have not had a roller in the past, a asphalt roller.
Thank you.
Thanks. We have that budgeted. Was it where it said it was? Yes. We had it budgeted at 46,000 for the roller. And that's gonna make a big difference in
Some of the patching projects. for
patching,
sure.
how we patch. Because they're not gonna have to hand compact it. It's gonna be a sturdier patch, correct?
Oh, that's right.
If I can understand patching.
It's,
I'm not a
it's,
patcher.
yeah, it's better than the.
Well, they've
Two
been
guys out there. Yeah,
practicing.
cold.
They've
Tamping
been,
Yeah.
they've been, doing saw cuts, cleaning out their patches. And they have a compactor shaker thing, but shaker weight, but the recent patches that they've done have been wonderful. So it's a huge, we've never done that in the past. So with this machine, they're gonna be able to do really grade A. We're getting a good patching material is gonna come. We're building a little box for it. And it's gonna be high-end patching.
Nice.
Hold
like
to it.
that.
No impressing.
So there was something.
Okay. If, I mean, is there any? I mean, I know we have our projected $563,940 beyond 6-month reserve, so.
Well, and we still have another 196,000 sitting in street maintenance fund.
It's still there
And
now that we can
reserve
transfer, okay.
after the budget.
Okay.
That, you know, if we needed to put more into street maintenance, we could do it now and say it, or if we run into problems, we have that reserve there in the street maintenance where you wouldn't even have to tap in an internal fund yet.
I think that's good to make sure we have some.
And next month, we have budget amendments. I can always transfer a little bit more of our excess reserve to street maintenance. We do that at year end sometimes.
To clean it.
I didn't have anything budgeted in this current year we are in or in next year to transfer to street maintenance, but I will be looking at that in the next few weeks and discussing with David if we want to transfer some of that over.
Because all the
That's your
street
call.
cuts and the sidewalk cuts and the things that are happening throughout town from Equix and their little projects, they're all being responsible for repairing and placing those. That's coming out of their dime, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
You're definitely paying for.
Well, their
Right, it's in their
contract.
bid. Yeah,
Yes,
it's in their
bid,
contract.
yeah.
So when that project, that finishes up, when that does finish up, do they do a one more time, go around just to make sure everything, like, we're talking about some of the repairs that they do, that they're holding up well and to our life?
Oh, yeah, I mean, they're all under warranty, so they got a warranty term on them.
Okay, so when they do a patch or whatever they're doing.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it has a warranty.
I think that's some of the problem with Avenue C. They tore up part of
Yeah,
that
it's just,
street
there's
right
just
there.
been
in
a lot
front
of stuff,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
get it, but it's just, as long as we got stuff to fix, and you said like we got the equipment to
Yeah.
do it when it comes up, great.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that we did. Thank you.
You're gonna ride your bike on a different street.
We get that sidewalk mode.
Get on the sidewalk.
Yeah, get on that sidewalk.
He's on street patrol.
Okay, any other questions, comments, asks? Changes to the budget?
Speak now.
All right.
That's a lot of work.
So the only true change I have is increasing, probably on the RDC side, contracting services for additional landscaping if needed. That's the only dollar change I heard.
Yeah, just as long as that's the right category, RDC, general fund, parks and, I mean, wherever it needs to be to get help if necessary, yeah.
Excellent. If it's parks, it can go to RDC.
Okay. All right, so we need a motion to approve the proposed budget with the suggested changes.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the budget with the suggested changes. Do I need to list those? Just the ones that we talked about?
I don't think so.
they'll only
Okay, the ones that are outlined, is good.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Fran, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Krueger,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Owen,
Yes.
Mayor Moore,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, discussion item K is to discuss and take action to set the tax rate and date for public hearing.
So as I mentioned at the beginning of our discussion on budget, I had originally built the budget with the voter approval rate. We did change that at the August 12th meeting. And the proposed budget is now being set at the no new revenue rate, which is 0.191962 per hundred. We do need to have a record vote on that being your proposed rate and setting the public, well, we don't actually have to have a public hearing. But we will be having our meeting September 12th, 2024 at 5 p.m. here at the council chambers. I don't think we have to have a public hearing, since we're not changing the no new revenue rate, but we do need to get some things in the paper and on the website for the proposed tax rate.
Is that our next regular meeting or is that a special meeting?
It is a special meeting.
Okay,
It is your next meeting,
okay.
but it is a
It's
special
not
meeting,
the-
September 12th at 5. Your regular meeting will be September 19th.
Okay, I already have it in here. Okay.
Okay, so do we have a motion recommending
The-
setting the new revenue rate, and then our recommendation is to go ahead and start advertising the rate as proposed as a no new revenue rate.
I'll make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second.
all right, any further discussion? Fran, please call the roll.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Crawford,
Yes.
Councilmember Krueger,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Owen,
Yes.
Mayor Moore,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right. Okay, item 7, city manager report.
Okay, a couple items I'd like to update you guys on. Let me open them up here. What am I start with? Rec Center. So we've been working diligently, Colleen and our Rec Center team. How do I get this to go? How do I lose that stuff on the side?
Is it PowerPoint?
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
Would you do that file?
PDF.
What? Oh, it's PDF?
Yeah. On the right.
Oh, maybe if I just do that. Yeah, close enough. Okay, so what we've been working on is getting the programming, which is figuring out everything that needs to go in the building, and then spacing, utilities. And then currently we're working on exterior elevations, what we want it to look like, getting everything dialed in, and then we'll be, hopefully in about 3 weeks going to plans, getting the plans ready. So general overview. Building, here's the existing pool. Ross Avenue over here. Building goes in front of the pool. And the reason why, because I know like in years past, we had the building back here, but the problem with putting the building in the back is you displace all the parking for the fields. And now you're walking from Ross Avenue all the way back to get to the Little League game. So you really want the building to be fronting Ross Avenue. And you want to keep the parking. Well, now you're going to have parking on both sides, but you really needed to keep this ball field facility parking intact. And it really forces the building to go to the front here. This layout has changed a little bit in the last couple weeks. So let me zoom in a little bit here. So you can see a little bit. So this is the full gymnasium. Right now, we do have the walking court above it, and that'll be an additive item that we'll see if it fits the budget or not. You have right here in the middle, you have, you're going to come in right here. You have office space for public or office space for Parks and Rec and the Nature Reserve right here. Group exercise, gym storage, gym mechanical room. And then coming back down here, here's your main lobby. This is your control desk. That's where everyone's going to walk by and somewhat check in. Fitness and cardio, teen, child watch. One thing, these are locker rooms here that you'll come in and enter the pool in. One thing we have switched is the multi-purpose rooms were on the front of the building, and we really wanted them, like when you had an event, we really wanted the ability to transition out to the back and go out and be on the pool deck. So we have switched this around. So this is not the most current floor plan, and I'll bring that to you guys probably at the next meeting. I'll give you guys an update because we think it's a lot better. So that is switched around.
Could that be like for birthday parties?
Yeah, it could be for weddings, birthday parties, numerous functions. So the floor plan is switched around. Here's kind of an oblique angle looking from the back of the building. You have the gym, Ross Avenue's out here. Outdoor basketball court, that would be new. There's the existing pool. We're still working on one thing that we have to keep in place is the pool pump house where all the pumps are. We had a pool expert come out and do a full review of the pool complex to see if it was movable or not, and to see if we could, move all that pump, and it was just astronomical. So we still will have a small building over the pump room where it is now. However, the existing locker rooms that are shown here, that disappears. So those disappear. Here's an angle from the front. You have full circulation around, so you still have the full circulation around the entire complex. Another feature that we've added over here in this corner is, because Marlin Academy and after school daycare are going to be huge components going into this building. We've redone this corner area right here and have a really cool driveway that comes in where you can do pickup. So we've kind of isolated that. So we've kind of cleaned that a little bit up. And Colleen, come on up and jump in. And this was their first stab at the exterior. Kind of Miami looking, a little too modern, a lot of glass.
It was just a starting point.
Yeah, it was just a starting point. We've been working on that, and this week we should have next Monday, we're meeting because we're gonna have new exterior elevations. But this was their first stab at it. This is the back. So this is looking from the existing pool deck would be here. The existing pool and facility was built back in the late 90s when the BFE was 8 feet for that area. It is now 11. So we have a 3-foot differential between the existing pool and pool offices and the new facility. So hence the 3-foot elevation gain that we have to get up to the new building. So this does show, so the area up to the right, we were like, hey, that's what we want connected to the multi-purpose space. So now you could rent that, you'll be able to rent it and have people come back out and have a really cool relationship between the pool and the deck and the multi-purpose space. So that's what's changed there a little bit.
Lots of shade.
Yeah, lots of shade.
There's talk of losing the pavilion that's next to the locker rooms, and so going with more cabanas on the pool side gives more versatility with rental space. Right now, they only do birthday parties if the pool's closed. Having cabana-like structures would give an opportunity to have different events happening during hours or at the same time. So it's increasing the efficiency of the space for programming as well.
So that's kind of the outdoor space that'll be next to the multi-purpose rooms. So here's kind of there's the existing pool slide that's getting repaired, and then there's kind of the back side of the building that will front even though it's the back side of the building, it still has a huge interface with the pool and the pool facility.
I don't know if you have the view, but their intention was when you walk in the main entrance that the whole back wall is glass and you see all the way through the building. So you look over the exercise equipment.
Yeah.
But it's lots of natural
So
light, open
yeah.
and airy.
So when you come in, let me zoom in on it right here. So when you come into the lobby, you will be able to look out. You'll be able to, there's no wall. You'll be able to look right through the fitness and cardio weight area right out onto the decks, because this will all be glass.
And then they included some outdoor space with turf there and
Yeah, right
I
out
think
on
it's
this big
still in the
area
plan.
here.
There's some things that are changing, but there would be, usable space outdoor under shade as well
Yeah.
for.
Like if you did
if you want to take a
yoga.
group exercise
yeah.
out there or have a place for kids
Yeah.
to get around. We're gonna have to talk about the safety barriers between the building and the pool with
yeah.
having kids programming in there. I need some kind of
Yeah.
railing
Barrier.
or
Yeah.
gate. But I actually have the updated floor plan in my report coming in a little bit. So if you have a magnifying glass, you'll
Okay,
be able to
great.
see the changes.
So yeah, so I'll just scroll through some of these other photos here that
As far as the exterior aesthetic goes, I kind of, because we're housing the nature preserve as well, I really wanted to have more of an outdoor recreation center feel. I want there to be a focus on healthy lifestyles and wellness and facilitating all of the outdoor recreation that we already have, hiking, surfing, skating. I want all those folks to come and, enjoy our facilities and work on, their skill sets. So I wanted to feel a little, like have a hint more of nature and the outdoors in there.
Yes,
But we're getting there. It's gonna be,
we can make it
Um,
our own look and feel, right? Yeah.
we
Yeah.
think the location is where it
like
needs
it.
to
I
be.
like that. better.
We like the orientation.
It flows really well, better
Yeah,
than.
yeah,
yeah.
we've worked really hard on the floor plan and getting the programming and what we think is, how it needs to work with after, after school care, Marlin Academy, we've got a bunch of different users in there. So it's a very complex space, and you got to think about, hey, where are the kids and the adults?
Yeah.
Are they commingling too much? And so you got to really
Yep.
think about how you're separating
Separate.
spaces out. And so we think we have it down pretty good. I think over the next couple weeks, we'll have a much more detailed product to give you guys. So I'll end that one
So cool.
and I'll jump over because Colleen's going to go over some more stuff here.
We've come a long way. When I first moved here, Chase did it was not Marlin Academy, but they had a tent out there that he was at in the morning. In the afternoon, they were in the pool.
Okay, let me jump into real quickly, up on the screen. This is the City Hall Civic Center expansion with Turner Ramirez, and I'll do the workspace for City Hall first. You got a little bit more. Okay, so here's down at the bottom, here's the entry into the current City Hall. One thing that we wanted to fix with this new layout is the county space, which is this room right here. All their people line up and fill up our lobby, and they're out there talking, and so what we're going to do is we're going to push the county space, the office, back into this space right here, and then their current county office becomes the county lobby. It'll have its own separate entry, but it'll still have connectivity into City Hall proper. Probably a glass wall. That'll get the county folks, into their own little corner there, and that'll help out a bunch. So the parking and sidewalk, which you see over here on the side, this does not change. That stays where it's at. So the expansion of City Hall is in two directions. It's back into the courtyard space, and then it's into the existing grass space on the east side facing the library. And so it moves city secretary and HR facilities over on this back on the new wing. It does widen the area. If you're familiar with where Melinda was, that becomes more kind of a hallway to get back to this new hallway. And then my office, I'm sitting right in here currently. And here's Lawrence and here's Nicole. So this is the building department. This is current. And then on the back side into the courtyard is the expansion. And this is very similar to what I presented you guys last summer. And basically you have inspector, you have two open spaces, but actually they're not open. This is where you're going to have in one of these, you're going to have the new short-term rental. What's her position? What's her official title? Specialist, short-term rental. Yeah, STR specialist. She's in here, which could grow to two people. And then on the other side is Carla and Alex. So you have your code enforcement here in the back. You do have two spaces back here. One could easily be used by our third-party inspector. They could come in, do plan review, and then if we ever had a public information officer, we'd probably move them here. Peggy is going to move into this corner here. So what it does is that it frees up Peggy and Fran's space and gives those to Darla for finance growth. And then it, because Fran's moving over here. So it really frees up Darla to have a little growth space in the financial part too. In the back corner is meeting space, which if you recall, the 2013 expansion, Lawrence's office was a meeting room, which was a meeting room for about 3 years until Harvey hit and Darla moved in there for 5 years until Lawrence came. So we get this meeting space. Now, here's one thing we could do with this meeting space. When we have council meetings, and a lot of councils do this, when they go into executive session, instead of having everyone get out of the room, they just all kind of pick up and march out the door, and take a minute to get down to this meeting space. And it's got TVs down there. It'll have everything down there, and it's a lot easier for council sometimes to just get up and pack their bags and go down there and not make 100 people leave or whatever the number is. So that's this space here. Now I'll transition over to the Civic Center. One feature that we're adding is a caterers prep area. So right now with the kitchen, we remodeled the kitchen, and the kitchen is fantastic. But the problem is that there's no prep surface. The caterers have to come out and occupy a corner of the Civic Center to do any kind of food prep. So this space here, it's in the courtyard. It's kind of, I don't know if you guys have been out there, but we have a door here, and it's usually where, like, if a food prep person, they'll back their truck into there and kind of get it close to the kitchen, and it'll have a lot of food prep service space, so a lot of counter space, warming ovens, additional sinks. And that'll hopefully, what the game plan is, it'll tie into the expansion, which is of the Civic Center, which is now going to become a little mini conference center. So here's the expansion. So here's the existing Civic Center. It stays the same, and the sidewalk and parking lot stays the same. So what we do is we push out into the smokers courtyard, or mosquito courtyard out here. And it has some real nice, so what we're doing is there's a grand hallway. And we want this hallway really big because it's kind of like, you guys have all been to TML, like at all the TML conferences, you're in your breakout room, but then you come out of the breakout room and you're in like a grand hallway, and it has couches and seats and chairs. And so it's a big space for people to conglomerate and meet. And so we wanted that nice and wide so that we could, fit some, you can kind of see them in here. They're real light, but you can fit, you can fit some couches and stuff like that. You could even have vendors in here. It's wide enough to have some vendors set up, so you could set up food tables out here. So as you were doing breakout rooms, as you had people in your breakout rooms or in the main civic hall, you could have you could have food set up out here in the corridor. 2 meeting rooms, 2 very large meeting rooms that have a retractable acoustic wall that can move. So it'll be an acoustic wall, which will give you the ability to have a speaker simultaneously in each breakout room, with an acoustic wall that'll deaden the sound between both, so that they could, both have speakers at the same time. or you open it up and you have one grand area. You know, you could set it up for dining, whatever, or breakout room and speakers. Towards the back, this is where kind of two nice big restrooms so that everyone's not having to go back out into the lobby. So two nice additional men's and women's bathroom, a family changing room here. And then we move a couple new items. So Sylvia comes back here. Sylvia and her crew. We're expanding maintenance with all our new buildings. You know, we hired John as a maintenance person and we added one. So, so we have new office space for maintenance team. Lockable storage back here. This is going to be where all our lockable files can go that Fran needs. We can put license plates back here, beach parking permits back here. So this is all lockable. Mechanical room, and then a city hall. Well, this is a new break room. This would be behind the existing wall of the backstage storage area. So now instead of staff coming in here to have lunch, we'll be having lunch in this back break room with some additional storage there. So other than that, and I don't have it on this drawing, but it's going to be an additive that we at least wanted to design and see what the cost came in. But it was it's an upgrade to the council chambers. And what it does is basically it takes this room, spins it 90 degrees. We blow through this wall, and the council chambers would be in a big semicircle up here. So this entire space, so the seats rotate 90 degrees, and it bumps your seats up from 42 to about 80. So it really improves. We move the fuel tank when we move out into the grass, and it really improves the seating capacity in the council chambers. And so that's not on this plan, but I'll have that to you guys shortly.
Improvements in staff area too.
Yeah, what's that?
Technology improvements for that council chambers.
Yes, yeah. A lot of IT that goes with moving this room around.
In the staff seating area.
Yeah, and it changes of course, it's gonna, be a full facelift, ceiling lights. So it's a full facelift to the council chambers. So that's the Civic Center City Hall upgrade. They've already started plans, so this is gonna be, we're hoping for a December bid on this. The rec center's behind a little bit. It'll be, yeah, they said January on that. So they're close. So both these are very close. Any questions on these two?
Looks good.
Yep. All right.
It's gonna be nice.
Okay.
With that nice police station across the street, we need to
Yeah.
up our game.
Yeah.
Long overdue.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it for me.
No? Okay. All right, we'll move on to staff reports. And I'm so excited that we're having our new addition of staff. Thank you. Staff for obliging the mayor in adding to the
Staff's
rotation.
excited. Staff's excited.
Oh, I
about
bet.
it.
I wanted to bring a couple of extra staff reports up. So Dave and everyone chose the first two. So Stephanie, you want to come up first for the library?
I brought y'all just a short video.
Oh, good. You see, this, I'm so excited.
Hey, you gotta step it up,
Yeah.
Colleen.
Or do you want to go next month now?
Messing with the
Yeah.
library. I'll match you with Daniel next time.
Yeah.
Or Doug.
Well, I'm just gonna go by my little script.
No.
All right.
Okay.
So good evening, Mayor, council members. I'm currently working on the library's long-range plan right now. I've actually been here for 5 years now.
Where does the time go?
So be on the lookout. If you get an email that says Ellis Memorial Library Community Survey, please take time and fill it out and help us get the word out. And this won't be put out until the new fiscal year. And I have a very short video for you. This year, our summer reading program was Adventure Begins at Your Library. And here are a few photos from our summer reading program.
All right. Is there volume?
Well, it's just it's a song, but it's not real music.
You could sing it. You could sing it.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
So that's just the video right there. But the top left, we had a stuffy story time. Oh, it didn't stop on the end there. I put it where
There you
it
go.
stop right there. Okay. Yeah, so what the kids did, everybody brought a stuffy and the stuffies actually stayed the night at the library. And they were so excited. Sophie and Annette did such a good job with them. So like they were on the computers, they were reading books, they were being mischievous and playing with the copier and making copies of their face and their hands and stuff like that. So then after they stayed the night, Sophie put together a little video and they just loved seeing their stuffed animal spending the night at the library, having a great time.
That's really.
And then the next group of photos I want to talk about there, air travel antics. Fran has another photo that she could share with y'all. But thanks to Mark Crichton and Chris Shanklin, they let us have access to their airplanes.
Oh, very.
And these are the kids that we were able to photograph and got to actually sit in Mark's plane. The other half of the group got to sit in Chris's, but Chris didn't take pictures. Mark did. And
The airport director didn't take pictures.
I think that he had some of the smaller ones, while the ones with Mark were a little bit older.
He was
So-
watching them closely.
Yes.
Sure they weren't hurt.
And so Mark texted me those and Annette put a little photo together. And that final picture there is, we like to partner with community groups and Ray did a little hiking event for them and we just walked around the nature preserve. But I mean, it was great. I would like to share something I wanted to mention too. I have access to our Google Analytics and somebody actually Googled Summer Reading Program 2024, Ellis Memorial Library, Airport. So, I mean, we had somebody that specifically came just for that program. And we had people, I mean, I know we cater to locally, but we had former City of Port Aransas staff come just to that program. And numbers I want to share. So 2021 was kind of our first official summer reading program because library wasn't open in 2019. COVID was 2020. We checked out 299 children's books in 2021. This year, we checked out 1,313 children's books.
Awesome.
So, I mean, Annette does an amazing job with the summer reading program. And I handed out our newsletter of events that will be happening. I actually just got off the phone today with the museum in Corpus, and they're going to help us with our little Monarch program. So there's going to be a little update on that. And next up is library card sign up month. So if you have not renewed your library card, you do need to do so in person. So that's all I've got for me. Do y'all have any questions for me?
Oh, you did a great job.
Thank you. I'm just very, very fortunate. I have an amazing staff. And I mean, we just work so great together and everybody loves participating. You know, sometimes you go somewhere and it's just having to do something but everybody just gets so excited with sharing our summer reading program. But with Colleen, I don't know, I'm getting scared. I'm watching what happened. Who's gonna with all that cool stuff?
They're gonna still want to
Totally
come.
different, totally different.
They're closed Mondays because we're closed Mondays. So I don't know what's gonna happen there.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. I really appreciate that. It's really good. Okay, Colleen, you're next.
This is, I think, maybe the second time I've ever presented on parks to the
See?
council.
It's gonna be
for our
every
whole
quarter
department. We
now.
have our parks board and you're always welcome to look at what we're doing there. I do at least quarterly report for them, but it was kind of hard to sum up all 6 departments within Parks and Rec and try and keep it brief. So that was my intention. Next time, there will be a cute slideshow. So I broke it into departments and I went with grounds crew and the capital projects that we have going on. So the big playscape at Roberts Point Park, I included all of the equipment in there. I don't want to read this because you do have it in front of you, but it's going to be an iconic playscape out there. The main feature lighthouse is 35 feet tall. It's pour in place safety surfacing, wheelchair accessible all the way to the lighthouse. And so I'm really excited to serve all ages, all ability levels, and it incorporates music and different sensory items, educational items. We're working on educational placards that include like ship silhouettes. So you can tell like what services ships that go through the channel provide. And there's a historical component that refers to the area that used to be Turtle Cove. And I think that's kind of rising to the top of as the name of the playscape. And then there's ecological education as well, like what common wildlife you see in the area. So we're working on signage and a communication board for nonverbal visitors. They'll be able to, help communicate through pictures and things like that. So I'm super excited. And the timeline, it's taking way longer than I thought, but second week of January, we should be cutting a ribbon out there. So.
Okay, we're gonna hold Craftsman to all that.
They're working really hard. They had some curveballs thrown at them through this process too. The big play equipment's coming from Finland and apparently they take the month of August off. So.
Well, yeah, they go on holiday.
Who knew?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to
Yeah.
or to adopt Finland's holiday month.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions on that, please let me know, but it is coming and it's going to be better than this rendering. Even includes the pour in place has creatures in it, crabs and fish, and there's little extras that they threw in on top of what you've seen in the plans. So I can't wait. Old Town Square is underway. We should be seeing half of the parking lot poured on Monday. It's a stamped concrete parking lot, so it's very nice finish, looks like stone. The slabs for the pavilion and the shade structures have been poured. Irrigation has gone in. They have some of the dunes shaped up, and so the dunes, they're creating this barrier between the green space and the street. And those, if you drive by now, you can kind of see the scale of them. So that is shaping up. They promised me it would be ready for Christmas lights, which go up in October. So it's coming along. Cool. I am still working on the grounds office relocation from where it is currently over to the corner of Avenue C and Cutoff Road, right next to the Farley Boat Works. We're just going to get a mobile mini for the time being until their maintenance facility is constructed. The next thing on the page is the rec center. This is the updated version with the orange multi-purpose rooms next to the pool, and that dark gray spot is that outdoor patio pickup drop off for Marlin Academy. And
That's a great idea.
It's really great, and it actually, we built it, or it's designed so that we can divide the hallway and actually create a barrier there. So if youth programs are going on, the public doesn't have access to them. So I'm really liking how the space is shaping up. If there's no questions with that, I'll move on. Christy put together this report for community programming. She has been a wonderful asset to our department and been so creative and expanding what we're doing. She has numbers on 8,806 program attendees through everything that she's creating. And the original report was a laundry list of every single program that she provided. And there are so many there. I think there was 146 events. And so I asked her to classify them kind of into categories here. So it was a little bit more digestible. But her outreach has just been amazing. And I've heard lots of good feedback. Any questions on community programming? That's where I missed the photos. I should have had a photo on that page.
Well, her news, you guys do an amazing job with your newsletters that come out, too.
We've
So
upped
you can-
our,
it's easy to keep up, with all that as well.
yeah, so just the aesthetics of what we're putting out too, like our ad in the South Jetty Visitor Guide and our social media and the e-newsletter, the branding that the city did helped us kind of make more uniform and I think more aesthetically pleasing stuff. So I'm enjoying what's going out there as well. Youth programming, we've got Marlin Academy numbers here. I wanted to kind of give you a snapshot of the breakdown of what folks are paying when they come. So we have 50 kids in Marlin Academy and 18 of them are school employees' children. 10 of them are city employees' children. 11 of them are receiving financial aid because they qualify for the free school lunch program in the state of Texas. 18 of them are paying full price, and the remainder there, 13, are paying a discounted rate because they have a sibling in the program already. And so the value of that is then broken down in item B. So you can kind of see what we're subsidizing or what we're providing to the community. We already have extremely low program fees. And so this is the additional help we're providing on top of that. So I thought those were kind of interesting numbers for you.
Are you max at 50?
Yes.
Because of the space?
Because of our staffing. So we have an exemption for licensing regarding the age of the staff that we hire. But the state regulates that for every program director, they can only oversee 50. And so I'm technically the program director when it comes to the qualifications of the program. And then Ken and Liz are site coordinators. And so at this time, we can't exceed 50 students.
Do you have a waiting list?
A huge waiting list
So I figured.
of 30.
Yeah.
And so we've actually been brainstorming about how to try and help accommodate those on the wait list, because I've heard some sad stories of parents who have had to change jobs and things like that because of this. So we have some folks that their students don't attend every day, or their students attend for maybe less than an hour. And so we're going to reach out to those folks and see if they're willing to accommodate those waitlist folks and maybe step aside and give their space to someone who really needs it. So we did a need-based program during COVID because we were limited to like 24 students. But with the ACE program being gone, the demand is higher. And so we need to figure this out. One of the things I'm going to do is reach out to the state health department to talk about moving locations. When we move to the rec center, our waiver will no longer cover us, and so, or our exemption. So I'm going to need to plan for being in that new space. I'm also going to need to plan for childcare that we're offering. And so we're going to have to look at how can we help more families. And also the ages have changed. So when PASD started taking 4-year-olds, our exemption doesn't cover 4-year-olds either. So I have a laundry list of questions that I need to work with the health department to make sure that we can accommodate or include in our exemption.
Yeah, and I mean, with enrollment up more than 10% already, you've got to figure that of those 50 new kids or whatever the number is, right? That there's probably 10% of those, that need after-school care, that would like after-school care.
Yeah.
I mean, I think y'all do an amazing job. And I mean, I know I don't know what I would have done without Marlin Academy for my children.
Right.
And I'm not a needs-based person, so I would hate to see the whole program to go to just that, and I mean, I understand, how that works, but I just think it's a huge asset in our community. So if there's anything we can do to try to support you guys.
Thank you. Yeah. It's definitely something that we need to work on. All right. Youth programming offered some additional programs that I wanted to point out. They offered day camps on days where the school was closed, but they weren't technically holidays where most parents were still working, at $20 for the day. And then they did a parents' night out at the same time as the Education Foundation's fundraiser. So parents could go attend that and drop their kids. And they were incredibly popular, bargain deal for $20 and $10.
That's fun.
Yeah. And so I've got the fee revenue that is coming in and then the supply cost that's going out. And this does not include staffing. So you can kind of get an idea of, what we're providing to the community and the cost there.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
Okay, so next is the nature preserve. It's interesting to try and put together the performance measures because these, categories are so different. But we've got the land management component. They just did a large prescribed burn. It went very well. They're working with the cooperative weed management area, Coastal Bend Cooperative.
CWMA.
Yeah, the Texas CWMA. And continuing to manage pepper tree, invasive pepper trees in the area, and monitoring the maintenance that they do. They're doing tree giveaways, school field trips, civic group field trips, the Whooping Crane Festival. I think I totaled everything up and they reached 4,607 people just in nature preserve programming. And that doesn't count daily visitors to the birding center or on the trails or it's not those numbers. This is like who we interacted with at a program. And then the neat part about the nature preserve is they're always leveraging grant funding. So we're using that hot text, but we're also bringing in an external funding to try and maximize the capabilities of it. And so we've expanded Paradise Pond. We're adding parking at the birding center and finishing the final trail connection. So everything will be connected. And then a KEPRA grant is in the works for habitat restoration where Hurricane Harvey damaged the land. And then Surf Rescue, they are really stepping it up. I'm super happy with where their program's at. They were fully staffed. They hosted the USLA regional surf rescue competition, and they killed it. So I wanted to give everybody credit there for their hard work as competitors. It's like an Olympic sport out there. It's really cool. They're paddling, they're swimming, they're racing. They have all these different events and it's a lot of fun. And then Nationals was in South Padre. And so it was nice and accessible. They went down and sent a team there and they did pretty well too. When you consider such a small program competing against the whole country, they took home some accolades as well. And then they keep track, their metrics get reported to USLA every year. And so I have the history on probably the last 7 years, and I just included the last 5 to kind of show you how things have changed. Their preventative actions is when they're at the beach and they're greeting people and they're letting them know about rip currents and they're telling them to stay away from the pier, just making a presence there. And so they've recorded visiting with over 7,000 people out there. And so if you count all of the different programming and the interactions that we're having with people as a parks department, we're over 21,268. And that's not folks just coming out and fishing on the bulkhead or sitting at a picnic table or walking a trail. So I'm very proud of the team. I think everyone is working their tails off to do the very best they can. And I appreciate you guys allowing us to do that and giving us the resources we need to do it. So
You did a great job.
thank you very much.
They look like Baywatch
I know.
every day out there.
Well, and going to nationals like fueled the fire. Now they're like, it's game on. They were the big fish on the Texas coast and then competing on a national level. They really. What happened to the pool?
It's here.
No, we have it.
We have it, yeah.
Sorry,
You
Adam.
need a copy?
Your brother.
Here.
Thank you. I don't know, that page fell off the printer, I guess. Okay, so the pool, I have to brag on Adam. He has been incredible at managing the water quality of the pool. He has it down to a fine-tuned art, and our chemical costs have greatly decreased because of how well he's managing the facility. And then he's also handy, so he's prepared tons of stuff. He totally refurbished the tumble buckets out there, and you'd think that we bought a new set. Like, I mean,
Big hit.
he's been a great resource for the pool. And so that's some of the capital improvements. He replaced the tumble buckets, chemical storage tank, refurbished the splash pad equipment, and installed a new heater. He had 12 patron and 5 employee incidents. I don't know the details of them, but I think they were minor medical. This is the snapshot from our recreation software on the visitors that have come in. They started selling concessions again. And he's got membership counts there. So that's pool passes that are being sold. And they're averaging about 50 people a day at the pool. And I'd say that swings a lot. I mean, there's days where they're at capacity and there's a line out the door. And then they are still hiring. They made 2 new hires recently. So they could still use a few lifeguards, but they're doing well. The maturity level out there and the professionalism out there, the training that they've done have really stepped up the program. So my daughter got to do swim lessons out there and we just had a blast. Lindy is a lifeguard there and my daughter just loved it and learned a lot about swimming skills. So it was fun to be a customer on the other side of it and just get to play.
Seeing the fruits of your labor.
Yeah, it's really been fun. And then I just listed civic partnerships because we are working with lots of people within the community. And so those are there and there's probably some that I missed. There's been some local sponsorships that have come in from like businesses that have wanted to help promote and support our programming as well that I didn't list, but these are just the nonprofits that I can think of off the bat. So if there's anything that you didn't see in this report that you'd like to see next time, other than cute kid photos, let me know.
Oh.
So are you gonna have Ray come and do her own?
Yeah, we'll have Ray come.
If you want, I mean, I included her,
You
she was a
did,
page in
okay.
there, but if you'd like to hear more detail on her,
I
can send her this way.
You did, y'all are doing a great job. Great
Thank you
job.
very
Thank you
much.
for
There's your page
taking the
back.
time to put together the reports.
Yes.
And we'll give you a little bit of heads up on your next shot.
Okay.
Well, you have a lot going on right
You
now.
do.
I mean,
Yeah,
between
and
the
like I said,
rec
it's
center
so
and-
different. I wish I could just give you like a performance measure table and say,
It's just not that easy.
this is what it looks like, but
No, you
yeah,
did
the
great.
data's all over the place.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, next is accounting finance, Darla.
So you moved from the departments of fund to the departments of no fund.
Well.
You will never have cute pictures, sorry, you get what you get every night.
Mm.
And I apologize, you didn't have it in your packet. I did email you all a financial
Yeah.
earlier today when I
You did.
completed it. I took a little 3-day vacation after I finished.
Good for you. You deserve it.
So I didn't finish the department reports of the day. I know I'm sorry. But just to point out. Economic indicators. The month of June for hotel motel was up 1.78%. Closed our gap on the decrease for the year. We're down about 4.3% for the year. really anxious to see how those July numbers come in with our little storm scare on the fourth weekend, but that remains to be seen. Sales tax for the same period was down almost 4%, but we're up almost 3% for the year. Harbor is up almost 6% for the fiscal year, and our golf carts are basically flat. We're within 13 of where we were last year through the month of July. But otherwise, everything's trending. We will need budget amendments. We have our meeting on September 12th, don't forget. And we did have one on August 12th, but we're gonna have one on September 12th. And we will have an RDC meeting before that. And that will be your final approval on the budget. And then at our September meeting, we will have budget amendments for this current year. Now you didn't get much time to review it, but if you have any questions, now I'd be happy to answer. But if you see anything, feel free to give me a call or email or stop in.
Okay, any questions for Darla? Okay, thank you very much, Darla. Lawrence?
Guess I could spruce up my report, but I feel like if I did, Dave would tell me I'm taking too long.
Probably true.
Trim it down.
Pictures and yeah.
Get over it. That's what happens. So I just keep it nice and easy.
Simple.
There you go. All right, so what's changed is I'll just go through the changes. TechStop awarded to the contractors. They are in contracting phase now with the engineer and the contractor. Pre-construction meetings should be coming up. Beach lifeguard new facility currently at 50% design. Construction is on hold until fire EMS station gets further along. Charlie's Pasture, Shoreline Bulkhead construction is completed. Signs have been installed on the concrete wall and a second round of hydro mulch has been installed. CBD Community Development Block Grant Hazard Mitigation Drainage Funding. Those contractors are substantially completed. What's left is site cleanup, some seeding and some asphalt patching to finalize that. Fire EMS station piers are finalized, underground rough and mechanical, electrical, plumbing are ongoing. Foundation work is ongoing. Gas distribution utility system, 65% complete. They are working mainly around Sea Secret, Whispering Sands, Avenue J, Dunes Way, and other areas. Harbor Master Pavilion and Building, substantially complete. Punch list work ongoing. Got a couple things we need to wrap up over there, but they're still working on it. Nature Preserve, North Trail, Boardwalk. Boardwalk pilings are installed and header boards and beams are being installed right now. Decking to come next. Nature Preserve Restore Grant bid openings are set for Thursday, September 5th in the afternoon. It could be at 2 or 4. We still got to get that nailed down. Bid documents are on the city website with the plans and specs, 100%. Public Safety Building, exterior stucco work ongoing, plumbing and electrical mods. Steel erection is ongoing. They're working on the tower right now where you enter. The mezzanine has been poured. They'll be working on putting the mechanical up there next for the air conditioning units. Public Works Building. Design is at 65%, planning to be put out for bid early 2025. Wayfinding signage estimated installation around late fall. Street and drainage bond, drainage infrastructure installation is ongoing at Ross Avenue, Oleander, and Channelview. Charlie's Pasture Pier parking lot, still with the street drainage bond. That is scheduled to be possibly worked on this Saturday or possibly next week. That'll also include some storm infrastructure and utility improvements along Port Street. We posted a projected project status report also on the city website. That's new. So that's out there for the public to see, kind of like a schedule if you will. And downtown streetscape design, staff is exploring legislative funding options. Any questions?
Any questions?
A lot of people have been asking me about Ross Avenue.
Yes.
When is that supposed to be complete, or is that just a slow.
Yeah,
They had to
The
redesign some
sidewalk.
of it and
Oh, did they?
rechange some stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been doing a lot
They
of
were
driveway
asking me,
adjustments.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They had,
um,
engineers had to redo some things.
Okay.
To be
Right.
able to. fix
That's
some stuff.
correct. Yeah, there's been a little bit of kind of back and forth with the teams, but I think they got it hammered out now. So what I have at this point on our, this is what's online now. If you go to the city website, you'll see
Yep.
this. This is new. It's pretty much like schedule or a little bit of an outlook. For Ross, what I'm being told, I just got this from Urban. Estimated start April 24th. So I guess that's Saturday. I think they should be getting back on work over there. Estimated completion September 24th.
Okay,
About a month.
okay.
But they have done a lot of work there. Just gotta wrap it
Yeah,
up.
I
they've
know
been
it.
having a lot of back and forth with some of the owners along the west side of Ross regarding their driveways. So there's been a lot of design changes on that too. So
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions?
Thank you, Lawrence.
Thanks, Lawrence.
All right, I could provide you with plenty of cute kid pictures
Yeah.
if you request those.
Just not regards to the building department.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the building department, but they're cute. So I noticed on here that I didn't change the date from last month. This is not from 7/18. This is all the way through today's date. So, so far year to date, we've issued 97 permits. We have 17 currently in review for a total of 114, which is right on track with being a little bit lower than our last 3 big years, but our average is pretty much the same as the years before that. We have hit the milestone of crossing the 3,000 mark on our short-term rentals. We currently have 3,028 registered. And that's does not include 6 that we have currently in review. So those will be approved soon. Laura has conducted 354 short-term rental inspections this year. Again, in September, that number is going to start climbing because she'll do those on a more regular basis that we can't really do during the summertime because people are in them. So last month we did have a lot more complaints than we've normally had through the short-term rental hotline. Still a relatively low number compared to the number of short-term rentals we have, 14. I went through and listened and read all of those, and I would say probably 75% of those are not really short-term rental violations. There was one about a stolen trash can, things like that are resolved. A lot of times people wait 2 days and then call and complain about something, which is also not helpful because we can't take care of it there on site. So we're kind of exploring some other options on whether or not to continue that hotline or whether to take that back from the third party and kind of handle that in-house again. So we'll let you know, we'll give you an update on that. Like I said, there was 14 last month, which brings year to date 33. And on Monday, we are going to brand new permitting software. We've been working for a long time to get kind of away from the outdated version that we had, going to this brand new version. So it should be exciting. It's going to be a tough couple of weeks for us, but the end game is going to be really good. So that's it.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicole. Thank you very much. Daniel?
you
Okay,
got some pictures in there.
something told my inner being that I
You
needed
needed
photos.
pictures. I'll tell you, I had to look at him twice. I was like, what
That's
is
the
that
thing.
a picture
I
of?
know, right? I guess we could start with the pictures.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
already on there.
That's not me in that
Yeah.
gurney.
No.
Well, good, because whoever it is looks naked.
That's skinny.
They have the lip
We wanted to
one,
make sure we, on the first one that went down, we didn't flip them over, so.
Yeah.
No live trials on that one, No, but ultimately, that's our new jetty cart, so it's pretty exciting because we've gone through all kinds of different jetty carts over the years.
That's cool.
And ultimately, the old one that we had, it's big, cumbersome, didn't really work, very uncomfortable for the patient. And so we did a lot of research and I got to give Chris pretty much all the kudos on this one. I mean, he used to do, high altitude rescue ropes technician, all kinds of stuff. And so did a bunch of stuff with the mountains. And so the second this thing hit the ground, we got an EMS and he was like, can I learn about this and do a training on it? And I was like, hey, it's all yours. So he did a whole training, made a test, did all kinds of stuff. And then we invited some lifeguards, some of the fire department out there to go and actually try it. So as you see there, you see on the right picture, I mean, that's what it collapses down to, the wheel and how small it gets. Pretty much operates off of 5 different slip pins, so we can deploy it pretty quick, drop in the pins.
And then you can see Rescue Randy over there in the Stokes basket. So it's a really, really cool system. It comes with a big tire, so it spans most all the gaps. You know. Yeah, two people in the front. I mean, it can operate on one person on each end, but you know, we try to get a protocol to where we at least have two people on each side for safety. But yeah, Rescue Randy is actually like 200 something pounds. And so it's, we did full blown training and we had the entire crew walk to the end of the jetties with them and back. And, so it was a really good training.
Real training.
Yeah. And, so we're planning another training. We only had a couple fire department guys come out there. It was kind of last minute. So we're going to try to do one, maybe on one of their Wednesday night trainings. So we'll go out to the jetty and try to get everybody to utilize it because they typically operate that when we call for the jetty cart. But that's a jetty cart. Other than that, dispatch calls, you said 140 calls. It's pretty flat, maybe a little bit down from last year, but up from 22. Same thing with the year-to-date calls, down just a little bit. Average response time 446, which is once again pretty flat. One thing about July is typically our transport percentage goes down a little bit because you know you might have a golf cart roll over 5 in there, and then you only transport 1, so you have 5 contacts and do 1. So there's a lot more contacts, but a lot less transport percentage, which is good because the hospitals are completely packed right now. And we're sitting on the wall for 45 minutes to an hour just trying to get a bed. So if you can avoid going to the hospital, I would.
And is there any, I mean, when in your contacts over there, I mean, did they have any solutions? Are they trying to?
Yeah, I mean, Bay Area, they should, before the end of the year, they should have their ER open. You know, they've been working on it for a couple of years. And you know, but and Shoreline is the same deal. I mean, it's a big, nice new hospital, their ER and everything, but it's just busy. A lot of people, a lot of sick people. So hopefully that'll take a big gap off of Bay Area because that's primarily, you know, where we go to. You can see here, I mean, 48 of our 56 transports with the Bay Area.
Sure.
So, and we started to try to expand out a little bit just because that wall time's been so long. But other than that, everything's been it's pretty good, smooth, easy month. So just carry on. Any questions?
What is, it's called wall time?
Yeah, I mean, when you walk in there with the patient in the stretcher and there's no beds, there's nowhere, so we just sit against the wall.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right, makes sense.
Yeah,
If there's wall space,
Right.
because now they have beds all in all the hallways, and so, yeah, sometimes it's just, there'll be 3 or 4 of us, or, you know, ambulances all stacked there with patients, and they're treating them on our gurney until we can move.
That's what the county's doing in our lobby.
Exactly the same.
Yeah. Walls.
Okay.
Thank you, Daniel.
All right, Chief.
Chief, no pictures.
No pictures.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to see.
You don't want to see.
Might not be legal.
The new section of the South Jetty, police spotter with pictures.
Yeah, that would be a bestseller.
Yeah.
Right there. Dan may like that. So we did a little bit less calls than we did last month. We were down just a little bit. We did some more citations and charges filed through the municipal court. We spent a lot of July chasing youngsters up and down the beach. In the month of July, I don't know what it was about the month of July, but it seemed like they decided that it was going to be their month to come out to the beach and group up and get broken up and regroup and get broken up and regroup. And that seemed to be the pattern for the month of July. We had a lot of mini spring break nights and weekends that we kind of went over. You see there, we made 94 total arrests, kind of broke down. 45 of those were alcohol related events. And then we had just drug related crime, 10 for drug related. 10 people were charged with different types of assaults, fighting and family violence charges. 5 were charged with weapons violations. And we always have more than one charge on some of these people that are arrested. So that's where those numbers come from. 24 minor in possession of alcohol or tobacco or some type of drug violation, and 49 golf cart citations, which is, the signs are doing pretty good. We're down.
That's on the highway?
No, that's all the golf cart related.
Oh, okay, cause it says I was like 49 on the highway?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was down from 104.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's everything.
Yeah.
The golf cart, I don't have my printout for the golf, for what the
It's-
court did.
Well, that's the court. It
That's
says
the-
golf cart on the highway.
Yeah, there's 39 of those. Those
Good
have ticked up as the summer's gone on,
Yeah.
but they're not the same as the historical numbers. that
Okay,
we
so
have
it's
for the-
down from
It's up-
104.
Yeah, it's down, it's down almost half.
Well,
Yeah, it is.
More than that.
I'm surprised they're still doing it.
I'm not.
All
I
right.
am surprised that they are not just going and trying to run the signs over and see how many they can run over in one time.
I'm surprised they're
So-
not either.
That was what I thought was gonna be the continual event was gonna be.
And
going
the,
putting them
the
back
beach
up.
parking,
Yeah, that was what, almost 500, I think?
620?
Yeah,
The big.
that was half of the violations that were filed. were-
like better than Alex's record?
That is not, I don't think anybody's gonna beat Alex's record,
Really?
but they're gonna come close.
Last year there was only
322.
23.
Yeah, but no, Alex wasn't with us last year for 4th of July.
He wasn't?
I don't think so.
I think he was. Aaron wasn't with you.
Maybe
there
that's
wasn't
what it was.
Just
Yeah,
one
He
person,
didn't
not
leave
two.
till, he didn't leave till.
December, November.
I remember.
Was
We
it
cut him
November?
off. Yeah, he was
So
here
that-
during the summer.
So
Yeah.
Yes. She's
She's
aggressive.
been, well, that's not just her though.
Yes, she
That's-
did. She almost gave
That's
me
all
one. I was like,
citations that
"No,
are
I
filed,
don't
so
rank
that's
it."
including the PD.
Oh,
ones
okay,
that we
because
write
they'll
as
still
well.
issue a ticket.
Oh, yeah,
too.
we
Right,
still
so
go
it's
out and
not-
do that on those
That's
days.
double.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
It's a huge increase.
Go girl.
Yep,
Yeah.
And the parking in the, what was it, the restricted prohibited area, that's up quite a bit. Is that
Yeah.
Just people parked in the roadway.
it's, yeah, it's a lot of it kind of encompasses all the stuff on the beach. So if they're parked in front of the emergency exits, if they're parked
Okay.
at the no parking area, the red caps, in the handicap sections. Or even during, like when they're double parking and stuff like that, and if we kind of do complaint driven on those, so if somebody gets blocked in and they don't know who parked behind them, we'll go and get them for those violations there.
Okay.
But it does say that drive cart on sidewalk went from 48 last year to 0.
Yes.
So
Yes,
those little candlesticks are doing
they're
something.
not driving on the sidewalk, they're driving along the sidewalk now, so.
Keeping them off the
Like,
sidewalk.
we're trying to get them, but I mean, it's like sticking your finger in the crack.
Yeah,
and we
that's
know.
the story with the lady driving all the way to North Padre. JFK.
That was
Was
the
that for real?
termination, it was.
We heard very little about it.
Well, I mean, I don't know, we don't know what happened with that.
Yeah.
Why she decided to drive a golf cart all the way down the
She probably
highway.
got left here, so she just went and got a golf cart. and drove.
She had access to a vehicle here, so we don't know why she didn't take her vehicle.
Whew,
So-
I don't want to know.
Yeah. She was.
She was seeing how far she'd go before she got pulled over. I mean, it was
Long
like 3
way.
or 4 in the morning, right?
Yeah, it
It was
was,
dark.
yeah, it was four
Like,
something in the
everybody's
morning, I
trying to
think, when
get
that came in.
killed.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the grace of God, nobody.
Yeah,
did.
no joke.
As you can see, we have 24 sworn, police spots, 7 dispatch spots. All my dispatch, positions are filled, and I've got 20, sworn on staff right now. I have one starting next week, and I have one that's starting backgrounds, it probably started today. I was out of the office at a regional police chiefs meeting, so I didn't follow up and see if they actually got it, but I think we've got one that's going to background, and we're doing interviews this weekend, so knock on wood. And I think the big event for July, not counting the evacuation for Hurricane Beryl, I figured that was more of a citywide event than just for the PD. That involved everybody, but the big one was the big truck tractor
Oh, yeah.
pursuit that we had that
Oh.
went all the way to just outside of Mathis.
It's
Yeah,
crazy.
so that guy was a unique individual. So it started off here on Allister where he wrecked into a couple of cars and just kept on going, went down to the ferry landing, and we went to go make contact with him at the ferry landing, and he decided he didn't want to talk to us and started driving down the roadway and kept on going. Once we got behind him, we monitored it pretty well. We have a pretty strict pursuit policy, so we monitored that pursuit pretty well. DPS has been working the highway and they picked up on it pretty quick, so they were able to get involved in the pursuit before we even got off Park Road 22. I made one of my guys stay in the pursuit until DPS had enough people in there that took it all. Around the causeway is where we broke off with it whenever they got enough troopers involved to be able to make sure if that guy stopped, they have backup and coverage. But that thing went all the way to outside of Mathis before they were able to spike it well enough to get him to stop. Turns out it was a stolen truck from Alice. The guy was from Alice. He had a litany of charges from Alice and DPS, and we filed a bunch of them on him too. So
Just wanted to come to the beach.
he did. He was having a grand old time. He was throwing beer bottles out of the truck on its way as we're pursuing him and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it was like a scene out of the movie. It was.
Looking up those charges.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, Brett kept making eye contact with him in the big mirror and telling him to stop, and he would no and drink and So, yeah, I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
No.
You really
Wow.
can't. So it's been an interesting couple of first months, you know.
Yeah, you had your hands.
Welcome
It's
to the
been-
position of
yeah.
chief.
Thank you, Chief.
It's been interesting.
Aw.
So
Any questions for Chief?
No, keep up the good work.
Yeah, great job.
Oh, crazy. I forgot about that one.
Okay, item 9, city council comments and items for future consideration. Oof. Okay, hearing none, we're adjourned.